voice, so that's a good thing.
Okay. I was just about to say that.
How did that happen? There we go. Well, hey, there. Okay.
There you go.
The fun of StreamYard, they keep you on your toes all the time.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. At least we're not echoing. That's good.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Not yet.
Okay, I'm gonna say welcome everybody to Spirits+Screams. Tonight on the show, we're so excited. We have Art the Clown.
Hey.
Better
What's
known
up?
as David Howard Thornton.
Yes. It's
Yeah.
me.
Well, I'm so happy that you came. I'm so happy you had
Thank you.
time. I know you're really busy, so we really appreciate it.
Oh, no problem.
Yeah.
No problem. I'm glad we were able to make this work out and everything. I just like those last minute change of plans. I was like, okay, cool. I can do this now.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah, super cool.
Oh, we're super happy you made it.
Yeah, I was supposed to. Well, I'm going tomorrow instead to go sign a bunch of comic books for our second edition of the Terrifier comics. So that's coming out
cool.
soon, everybody.
Ah,
We're staying tuned for that.
Yeah.
that's very cool. I'm going to be getting some of those for sure.
Oh yeah, it's our great artist Steve McGinnis. He's actually up there in Canada as well. He does all the artwork for it. So yeah.
Oh, that's very cool.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to look for them for sure. I'm really into that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, they're fun.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, everybody in the chat. So we've got Mr. Dan is here. Hi, Dan.
Mr. Dan.
Hey, Mr. Dan.
And we've got Wes.
Hi, Wes.
Hi,
Ice
Wes. The Ice Lord.
Scar Scare.
Scar. It's like Bill
How's it
Scar.
going? And our favorite person, Echo.
Echo.
Hello.
Hi, Cassandra.
Hi.
Hello.
Who else? And Terrence. Hey, Terrence.
Hi,
How's
Terrence.
it going?
Hey, Terrence.
Hi, Knight. Thanks for showing up.
Hey.
Appreciate
Hey.
that. I'm gonna be
Everybody's
on
coming.
Yeah, everybody's here.
Looks like the chat's going to be crazy today. I don't envy you, Karen. Have to filter out all those comments.
I don't envy you because you have to talk. Ha ha.
I'll let him talk. He'll talk.
Yeah.
Hey,
I'm just gonna say
Strawberry
hi
Lover.
to everybody, so I don't have to keep on saying hi.
Yeah, for sure. Hi, everybody. Okay, so we're just waiting on Nye. Hopefully she'll pop on soon and we'll add her into the chat. But yeah, so oh my god, I rewatched Terrifier today and I've watched it so many times. It holds up every single time. It's such a good movie.
Crazy.
Yeah, the best kills ever.
You're so evil in that.
Thank you. I do what I can.
You are. So
He's
different.
a fun character to play. He's just such a mischievous little bastard.
And he's like I don't know if he's like a clown or he's like a demon from hell. It could be both, right?
Could be. Could be. Well, we're exploring all that kind of stuff in future films. So it's just like, yeah, we just don't want to reveal everything all at once. It's just kind of fun having a little bit of mystery to the character. It makes it more intriguing, I think. It's just like, I mean, we after 80 plus years, we still don't have a true backstory for the Joker after all. So.
Right.
True.
It's so many conflicting stories.
Mm-hmm.
Did you how did you get this part?
I just auditioned. It was very serendipitous because, the original Art the Clown, Mike Giannelli, didn't want to come back to play the role because I think he just wanted to move on with other things in his life and not have to do with the whole ordeal of the makeup and stuff like that. And they needed another guy to play Art, and they put a post out on Actors Access, and I answered the call. They needed a tall, skinny guy that could do, had experience in physical comedy or clowning. And I was like, hey, that sounds perfect for me. And I was looking for a way to branch into doing film work because I'd always been focused on stage work. And I'm like, yeah, this would be perfect. So why not?
Yeah.
And had my reps submit me for it, went in, auditioned, had to improvise my whole entire audition on the spot because Art doesn't talk.
Right.
And you can actually see that audition online too if you ever want to look it up. It's there.
Cool.
That was fun, and that's what got me the role. They basically told me right there in the room, "Hey, can you come in for a makeup test?"
Right.
So that's unusual for the film world. Usually, you have to come back for a series of callbacks,
Right.
to read with other actors, see how everybody fits together, all that kind of stuff. And I think they just knew immediately they wanted me for the role, so I lucked out. Changed my life.
Right. Yeah. What is it like wearing all that makeup and everything?
Right?
It's you get used to it. Luckily I know before this I had a lot of experience wearing a lot of makeup in previous like stage performances I did, because I did a lot of
Okay.
children's theater growing up. So I
Okay.
usually played the animals and stuff, like the crazy characters had really extensive makeup jobs. So I'm used to sitting in a chair for an hour or so getting my makeup done and stuff like that. But I mean, the makeup's not the most comfortable thing in the world.
Right.
It's especially for like the first film, because I also had to wear a bulb cap, and we
Right.
nixed that for part two. We're just like, oh, that's unnecessary. We can just cut that out, and that cut the time frame, because it usually took about 3 to 4 hours to get me in full makeup. Now we've
Wow.
changed to a new type of mask as well, because originally we were using a gelatin-based mask.
Okay.
And what sucked about that thing was it would easily disintegrate if it got any like liquids on it. So the teeth I was wearing would make me drool sometimes.
Yeah.
And so that would just disintegrate my mouth. Or if it's cold out, my nose would run. And so that would disintegrate, that area right there above my lips and everything like that. And
Right.
so it was a pain, because I would have to go back, and I called going to triage, because I would have to go back and sit in the makeup chair for another hour or so while Damien had to, cut up pieces of bulb cap or whatever and glue it to my face to cover up the splits that were occurring in my makeup and everything
Right.
like that. And that's annoying when you're on a strict time limit, when you can only be filming for X amount of time. So he's like, that's a major setback. So we've now switched to a foam latex mask that
Okay.
holds up wonderfully with any of that kind of stuff. It's wonderful. It's so much lighter too. It's like the gelatin mask is very heavy on the face. Now
Okay.
this foam latex just it feels like paper on my face. It's wonderful. So and it comes off so much easier too. So
Right.
it's cut down the time it takes to apply it, to maybe we can get my makeup on in about an hour or so now.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Does having all the makeup on, because you're worried about it melting off and that kind of thing, does it hinder the performance, or does you just go for it?
It can, because I get in my head a lot about that kind of stuff, because I worry about how it looks on screen. I worry about it falling apart, and it has done that on occasions. Where
Right.
there's one time when we're filming part two, we're doing some filming during the summer of 2020.
Yeah.
When we're allowed to during COVID, and it was a very hot day, and I'm sweating so much underneath all that my jaw just came unglued. And so I was in the middle of a scene, and my jaw just goes blah, and just starts hanging. So it looked like I had two mouths at the same time.
Yeah.
It's like, oh no.
They should have just worked it in there.
Oh
Yeah, they should have left it. They would have added to it.
Crazy. Oh, that was just, it was just, the whole thing was melting off of my face that day. I looked like a stroke victim. It was bad. It's just like my eye just starts going, whoa. It was bad. It was so bad. And those are the things where you get in your head, and I don't like that, because I like to just feel free to do what I want to, especially with my face. I want to go as far as I can with things, because Damien especially wants bigger gestures or facial expressions.
Right.
Especially with my mouth and my eyes. So it's like I sometimes worry about it. And, I'm always checking in with him. How is it? And he's like, we'll fix it in post, or we'll just throw some more blood on it, and no one will notice.
Blood fixes everything.
It really does, especially when you're covered in blood. So it's just like, that'll fix up those little spots there that most people wouldn't notice anyway.
Right. I just want to say Damien did an incredible job. Like, just the effects and the kills are like the best I've ever seen in a horror movie.
My God. You think they're good for the first film. I think he really upped his game for part two. It's just...
Oh, great.
Whew,
Oh, great. Now he's
man.
teasing us.
Yeah, he went overboard, I think, because even like the pandemic in a weird way helped us, which
Right.
sounds weird, but it gave us more time because we still had 2 big kill scenes to film
Right.
when the shutdown happened here in New York. And Damien just used that time to revamp the kills that we needed to film.
Right.
And he had more time to build the prosthetics that he really wanted to build. So he wasn't rushed for any of that. So he went crazy with these 2 kill scenes. One's the first
Awesome.
kill in the movie, so it starts off with a bloody bang. And then there's a kill that happens later on. It's like basically the Dawn type of kill in the movie where it's just he went nuts with the prosthetic work for this one. He even created this one thing that it looked awesome in itself before he put all the blood and goo and everything on it. But like when I walked into the room after he had set everything up and this thing moved, I was, wow. It was like, it's going to be one of those things where the audience is probably going to think that's CG, but it's
Right.
not. The only CG is the victim's face imposed on it, maybe.
Right.
So it's like, it's pretty impressive what he built. It's all puppeteering and stuff like this. It's all just
Wow.
total old school with people behind the set manipulating things. It's just, I was floored that he made this himself.
Yeah.
It's
I'm super
I wonder
excited
if
to see this.
it's that one infamous kill you're talking about that everybody always talks about in the Terrifier, like the scene.
Yeah. It's this is definitely going to be the kill that everybody talks about. I'm pretty sure we're even going to get some hate from people on this kill because it is a very, very violent kill. It just really shows you just how truly demented and evil and debased art really is. That this
Looking forward to it.
Oh, I will say it's not a quick kill. It lasts for several minutes, so you're going to be like, "My God, dude, enough is enough," and it just keeps going.
I'll get my snack.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you something about Curly right now.
Mm-hmm.
She can eat through anything. So
Anything.
Cool.
I haven't reached that status yet, but she can. She's
challenge
that's her thing.
accepted.
Yep.
Challenge accepted.
So I guess I'm gonna get some medium rare steak to get through that.
Because I even there's one moment in that kill that even made me cringe. It was just like I was just it's one of those I can't reveal what it is. It's one of those things that anytime I see this happen in a movie, I always cringe anyway. It's just because it's something I can relate to. It's like the things that I've seen in movies, like like something happening to someone's eyeball or something happening to like someone's like their fingernail breaking off or a bone breaking or something like that. Those are things I can relate to myself because I've encountered those kind of injuries, so I know what that pain is like.
Yeah.
So that's why I just go and that kind of stuff. And this kill scene had some of those type of moments in it. I was like, oh God, you got me this time, Damien. I was like,
oh, that's awesome. Okay, I'm gonna go back to the chat.
Good.
Cool.
Hey Nick, I'm so glad that you came
by.
Yes.
He couldn't believe that you were coming on. He thought it was all a lie.
It's not a lie. I'm real.
He exists.
And Mr. Dancing, did David have any experience with Mind Before Terrifier?
No, not really. I know that's been out there in the universe. People have been putting that on sites and stuff like that, saying I had like professional training in mime work or anything. I never did. I did a lot of like physical comedy, and especially like commedia dell'arte back in the day. And I had a good, not just good, a great mentor when I toured with the Grinch for 5 years. I was understudy for the Grinch, and our Grinch for those 5 years I was on the road, the first 5 tours, was Stefan Carl, who was Robbie Rotten from the show Lazy Town. And Stefan was actually trained in mime work and clowning and all that kind of stuff. So he was able to take the skills that I had been developing all those years as an actor and was able to fine tune what I was already doing and taught me new tricks and stuff like that. So I put a lot of what I learned from him into Art the Clown. I mean, you can probably watch performances of Stefan and I back to back, and you'll see a lot of similarities.
Cool.
Mhm.
Hey,
Oh,
Kingor.
hey, Kingor.
Yeah, he's
Hello.
super hyped for Terrifier too. Yeah,
Oh
we
man,
all are.
Who is it?
I am so hyped.
Yeah.
Everybody's hype.
So excited. And Nick says he can't believe any better kills for number 2.
Oh, I know that we took that as a personal challenge because we were like, oh God, did we set the bar too high for ourselves? Because it's hard to come up with things that are new now. Because
Right.
so much has already been done. Because Damien and I spitball ideas back and forth with each other about kill scenes all the time, and I would come up with something and I thought was really cool. He's like, "Oh yeah, that was done in this movie," or that he's got like an encyclopedic knowledge of movies, especially horror films, and
Hmm.
he knows movies that most people don't know, and he's like, "Oh yeah, that was in this film," and it's like an obscure film, and so he doesn't want to copy from other people. I was like, well,
Right.
you don't necessarily have to copy from other people. You can take what other people have done and further evolve that type of kill. I think you can,
Right.
in some fun ways. So it's like, and that's it's that definitely was a challenge though for us, is to come up with new ways to horribly maim people, I guess you could say.
Cassandra saying Damien is amazing.
Oh, he dude at whatever, he truly is. It's just like, man, it's just like,
Yeah.
he truly he really is the new, I think, Tom Savini, and I would even dare say, Wes Craven combined in a lot of ways. He's got such a great mind when it comes to horror,
Right.
in what is scary, what really gets under people's skin, and how to bring that to life.
Right. Yeah, I agree. And you were telling me he does a lot of the different elements of the film as well, too, right?
Mhm.
Editing and that.
Yeah, he writes it. He wrote it, directed it, did all the practical effects himself, did all the
Right.
editing, except for maybe some like color corrections. We had some guys come in for that. I think probably the only things he really didn't do were really just act in it and do the music for it. Paul Wiley from Marilyn Manson came back to do our music again for us, and we had some other guest artists step in as well. But Paul did our soundtrack again for it, and some of this new music he created is fantastic.
Yeah.
I love it. And that's a big part of these movies too, is the music. People don't understand music is a essential part. A good soundtrack can really add so much to a horror film.
Yeah. Yeah. For
Yeah,
sure.
adds to the mood.
Mm-hmm.
That's the mood, that's the atmosphere. Sure.
Scar's asking, did you ever go out as Art for Halloween?
No.
How scary would that be?
You should
Not
have.
really. Not really. Yeah, I should enter a costume contest, a look-alike contest. See if I could have the Charlie Chaplin type moment, where it's like someone else wins, and I'm like, I'm really him.
Right? People will be like, your costume is awesome.
Yeah, but you're not quite there. I'm like, what?
Nick's asking if Art were to be in a
Mhm.
Freddy versus Jason style crossover, which other modern horror villain would make the best opponent? The
Ooh,
Collector, he's asking.
I think I want to go with some of the newer guys this time. And I will say, I think a fun rival would be Psycho Gourmet.
Mm.
Yeah, if we're
That's
going
a
to go
good
with
one.
the villains. Now, if we're going to go with a protagonist, I would say Nicolas Cage's character from Willy's Wonderland would be a fun one too. Two silent guys just going at it for the whole film. That would be
Yeah, that one is wild too, so.
Oh yeah. Plus, it would just be fun to work with Nick Cage. I mean, come on.
I wouldn't want that.
It'll be the bee's knees. Not the bees.
Not the bees.
Not the bees.
I love that movie. Everybody hating on that movie, but I love it.
It's fun in a silly way, I think.
Cassandra's saying, I think if we were
Yes.
talking a mashup, it would have to be Psycho Gourmet
Yeah.
versus Art.
No, yeah. See, I don't think Psycho Gourmet gets nearly enough love as it deserves. I thought that was just such a fun, creative movie.
Mhm.
and it's another indie low budget film too, and they did so much great work with it. It's so entertaining, and I have to say, a tiny hat off to the young girl in the movie. Oh my God, where did they find her? She was amazing, absolutely amazing. And the funny thing is too, the kid that played her brother is also in Terrifier 2.
It
He's
is?
yeah, he's one of Elliot Fulham's character, Jonathan, one of his friends. It's like, and one of his other friends, Griffin, he's on Cobra Kai. He's Daniel's son on there. So it's like all these kids have gone off to do other things, and they were in Terrifier. They had like a smaller part in Terrifier 2. So I think that's really cool.
Yeah, really cool.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Nate saying the dedication for this movie is top shelf. So excited for it. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, yes, Nate's got a really. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, but he's right. It's the dedication. I mean, that's the thing. It's like this whole entire cast, and especially the crew, have been so very dedicated to the show. I mean, we've been working on this for 3 years.
Wow.
And we're not getting paid millions of dollars to do this. You know,
right.
We've been putting in so much of our own time and, you know, even sometimes our own money into this because we believe in it. We think this is just going to be a great, awesome film for the fans. And it's just like, and I think it's when you have people are that dedicated to a work of art, no pun intended, that's when you get the better product. We're not doing this just for a quick paycheck. We're doing this because we actually genuinely love the material and we want it to be the best it can be. So we're not half-assing it at all.
Yeah. I love that. I love those kinds of films. I'm so, I don't know if you watch Chris Stuckman, but he's a big YouTuber, movie reviewer, and he's doing his own film as well. And he's raised like a crowdfund kind of thing and just made a decent amount of money, a decent budget. But yeah, on his own, I'm so excited to see that film too. So I hope there's like a revitalization or like, you know, puts these kinds of films in the forefront too. So
I do too. And I hope it also, you know, they realize that they need to get the people that really love the genres, not just, you know, horror films, but, you know, comedies or comic book films. You get the people that are actually passionate about that genre in charge of making the film. That's when you're going to get a much better project. I mean, I looked at, you know, what James Gunn has done with so many of the DC and Marvel properties, like little known properties that no one even knew about. I mean, I knew nothing about Peacemaker, and I watched the show and I'm like, oh my God, this is brilliant. And you can tell there's that passion behind it.
Right.
Now, Cassandra is saying, other than Terrifier 2, do you have any more projects that are up and coming?
I do. I just, well, first of all, I've been working on another film with a lot of the Terrifier 2 team for about a year or so called Stream. Not Scream, but Stream, like you stream something online.
Yeah.
It's the Fuzz on the Lens guys, like Mike Levy, Jason Levy, and Steve Del Sella. They were in Terrifier 1. Like Mike was the exterminator that I beheaded, and Jason and Steve were the cops that came in at the very end.
Yeah.
But their company has made this other film, Stream, that we're hoping is going to be another franchise. And Damien's doing the practical effects on it, so the kills are going to be pretty good.
Oh, cool.
And it has such a who's cast of horror celebrities in this thing. It's being on set was amazing because I'm seeing all these actors I grew up watching in films during my whole entire life, and I'm acting with them, and I'm sharing equal time with them, and that was amazing. I mean, I learned so much. I mean, like we have Jeffrey Combs in it, Felissa Rose, Dee Wallace, Danielle Harris, Dave Sheridan, Terry Alexander, Tony Todd. It's just there's so many others too. Dana Roebuck, you know, it just God, there's so many people to name, and it's just being on that set was just a trip. It was like it was like a master's class, right? Especially watching Jeffrey Combs act. Right. I love him as an actor. I think he is such an amazing character actor. I love the type of he plays the type of characters I want to be able to play one day myself.
Right.
So I would even if I wasn't in a scene, I would go up to Mike and like, Mike, Jeff, is it okay if I come in and just watch the scene today? And they're like, oh yeah, sure. I was like, I'll just sit on the side and just watch. I just want to. This is how I learn.
Yeah.
I was like, I never went to school to be an actor. I went to school to become a teacher.
Right.
And so I my whole entire life, I've learned from watching other actors that are more experienced than I am. And I sometimes even just hate to be the best in the room because I like to learn from others. I learn from every single person I am on set with.
Right. Every
single one of my co-stars, I have taken something away from their performance.
Right.
To add to my repertoire.
Yeah.
So it's just I love that. So just it was such a great experience. I loved it.
Can you tell us what it's about?
Oh yeah. It's basically about this family that goes on a vacation and they get locked into this hotel with these mass murderers, these 4 mass murderers that are part of some game show. Mm-hmm. And so it's a whole tale of, survival with them and all the other guests of this hotel. But there's so much more to it. Just that. It's got some great twists and turns. And like I said, they want to make this into a whole series of movies. So I'm like, oh boy. I just hope I'm around to come, back maybe, and if I survive, come back for sequels or not, It's like sometimes even if you're dead, they can still find creative ways to bring it back. So
right. You didn't really die.
Yeah. Who knows? I can't say, but it's just being able to work on this one alone has been a lot of fun. Where I'm supposed to do my final scene, I think next month or something like that. So that's good. It's gonna be an easy scene too, so that's gonna be fun. But other than that, I was also in LA a few weeks ago working on a top secret project where I can't announce the name of it. Okay. But I will just say it's based on a very popular American Christmas story. And it's a horror film. So it's
based on a Christmas story, but it's a horror film.
Yeah, well, it's been made into a horror film. It's a parody of this story.
So like the Christmas Carol, the horror film.
Sort of, kind of like something like that. Yeah. It just might make your heart grow 3 sizes. I'll just say that.
Okay.
And you can infer what you will.
Okay.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah.
That's all we can say. Oh, that's
yeah.
Well, stay tuned.
Stay tuned, but it's hopefully going to be coming out this Christmas. So it looks like I'm going to have an eventful holiday season, between October and December.
So you'll be real busy.
Yeah. Terrifier 2. Yeah. We haven't been able to announce the official release date yet, but we're finalizing things with this with distribution right now. But it's definitely coming out in either September or October.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so it's either going to be released before Halloween ends or after Halloween ends.
Got it.
Yeah.
Well, we can wait, I guess.
Yeah.
We'll be patient.
We got to give Mike Myers some friendly competition. It's just like
we'll just rewatch the first Terrifier movie. That's all.
Yeah. Right. That's a perfect time.
Oh yeah, and I will say this is a much bigger film than the first one. It's in every shape or form. It's even like almost twice the length of the first film. It's a little over 2 hours. So it's for a slasher film, that's very unusual. But it's like we have so much we want to do.
Yeah, no,
we've tried cutting it down more, but we got to the point where we can't cut any more. We're cutting out important parts of the film. So it's like, okay, well, we're living a time where, people are used to sitting through a 3-hour superhero movie, or something like a Hereditary or Midsummer, which are well over 2 hours. So the important thing is you keep the audience engaged,
right?
And that's what we're doing. This is not a boring movie in the least. It's a constant roller coaster ride. I think the longest lull we have in the movie of anything anything crazy not happening is maybe 7 minutes. So it's constantly going, especially the last third of the movie. Once the last third starts, it just I kind of look at that as like how the first 2 Child's Play movies were in the last act. where it just once it starts going, it just does not stop until the credits roll.
Right.
Yeah.
That's gonna be fun.
Oh God, it's a lot of oh the gosh. I mean that it took a while to film the last part of the film, but whew, boy. It's nuts.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Getting
so
us
fun.
all hyped up, and it's only July. So
I know, got to do something, you know.
The first film was so much fun for me to watch. I watched it a bit late, but I watched and I was messaging with Curly at the same time, and she's like, "Did you get to the scene yet?" I'm like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, I saw this part." She goes, "No, you haven't."
that's
You
that's
know,
the part.
you know.
And I was like, "Oh,
You
okay."
know when you get to that scene. It's like,
Yeah.
you'll know when you get. I call it the yellow room scene.
Epic scene.
Yeah, you'll know when you get to it, and you're like, oh my God.
Right?
Yeah.
And
Oh, that's
I just
really cool.
love
yeah, and I have to say,
that.
I have to, you know, I think the actor that was in this scene deserves all the accolades in the world for what they went through. Because it was a scene that was originally supposed to take 2 days to film, and it ended up taking about 5 days to film because there's just so many elements to it. And this person, every single day, gave 110% to the performance, and that's hard. It's very hard. I did a film that was released, I think last year or early this year, Dark Offerings, and I was just in the first scene in it where I died, and all that just screaming just for a few hours.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I had a stress headache by the end of it. And I'm like, I have a whole new appreciation for my co-stars. I have to do all that yelling and screaming. That's hard.
Yeah,
That
I
is
never thought
hard.
of that.
Because you're
Screaming
doing that.
nonstop must be hard.
It's hard. It's hard. It's emotionally draining too.
Yeah. I would think just being covered in muck and blood and stickiness for 3 to 5 days would be just awful. But having
this
person
person
too.
This person at one point was literally glued, not literally, but almost literally glued to the ground with all the stickiness that was on them from all the blood and everything. So I was like, oh my God. We had to help them up. We're like, oh no, you're stuck.
No.
We're like, action. They're like, whoa, I can't move.
So what do they use for the blood? Like corn syrup or?
No, we don't use corn syrup. We use it's actually movie industry blood, but also Damien has his own concoctions he makes too on top of that. That he has his own recipes. He has different types. We have different types of blood for different things too, which is kind of cool. So
Right.
It's like I never really realized there were different types of blood are needed for different things. So it's like, oh, this is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Do you does that get into your head? Do you have to decompress and go home and flush it out, the images and stuff, or does it bother you?
No, it doesn't bother me at all because I know it's all fake. That's the thing. I know it's all fake, so it's just it doesn't bother me in the least. Though that's something before I filmed part 1, I was afraid that was going to do to me, and I was also afraid I was like, how am I ever going to be able to eat on set? I'm going to be so grossed out by everything.
Right.
And it doesn't faze me. I am probably like Curly now. I can just sit there and eat a medium rare hamburger, watching someone getting vivisected on screen. Like, oh, this is fun.
That's the best time to eat a medium rare hamburger. When somebody getting vivisected on set.
It's like, it doesn't faze me. It's just because, I know it's all fake. It's like, though some of the stuff I do have to deal with, for the prosthetics and stuff like that, can be kind of gross because sometimes we use chicken livers and stuff like that. So it's just like but it's more just like, oh, this is really cold and sticky and smelly right now. It's just like it's not like, oh, gross, it's because this is a body part. It's like, oh no, this because I'm used to cooking my own meats and stuff like that, so that doesn't faze me. It's just like, oh God, now I got E. coli on me probably, so I have to go wash my hands.
Yeah, does the set stink?
Yeah. Oh God, yeah, you can. We had a moment with part 1 with the intestines that fall out of Dawn. Oh no, she disappeared. But but it was like the intestines we had for Dawn. We used sausage casings and we put fat in them. so it looked like intestines. And
Oh.
the first night we were supposed to film, there ended up being a flood in the room, so we couldn't film that night. So we had to delay shooting for 2 weeks. So our DP George took the intestines home with him and forgot to put them in his refrigerator, but just left them in his garage. And he thought, oh, the garage is cold enough because it's New York in the winter. So we opened them up 2 weeks later, and it's just like the smell that came out of this thing was. It's a good thing we weren't running sound that night when I'm cutting through that body, because I accidentally cut into one of the intestines and all that stuff just went out. That smell, I mean, the smell originally was bad, but that smell of just this fetid fat was just, well, that's a fun word, fetid fat. That's fun to say, but that fetid fat, oh, it was just so foul. Oh, such alliteration. Foul, fetid, fat. But if we were doing sound, you would have just heard the whole entire crew just going, it was like an episode of Jackass. Where it was just like,
oh God.
It was like, oh no. Today stunt guts and glory.
Curly's like, I feel like having sausages now.
Yeah, why not? Hot dogs.
Yeah. It's a good thing that, Jenna and Catherine weren't on set that night, because they're both vegetarians or vegans and stuff like that. They'll be like, so you switching to our ways now? I'm like, oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. I'll still eat all that good stuff.
Yeah, just gotta eat it fresh. That's all.
Yeah, just gotta have it fresh. That exactly. It's like I not rotted stuff. Ooh. Ooh. That's one of the worst smells. Oh no! I think one of the worst smells in the world is rotting fish. That happened one time when I was a camp counselor, where I was supposed to go canoeing one day with my kids. We pulled up with the van, and there was this big bass. It was maybe about 2 feet long, that was on the concrete there in the parking lot of just right off the side of the ramp to the water, and it had been sitting there for a few days, and it was just rotting. And I mean, we smelled it even before we got there. We could smell it from a good ways off, but oh God. Oh, it had just so much nastiness into it, all the maggots and stuff like that. It was just like, oh. And of course, being the counselors, it was up to myself and our canoe counselor for us to get rid of it. So we have like our shirts over our faces and everything. We're just trying to keep our composure for the kids, so the kids don't just lose it. Yeah. But oh my God, I had the hardest time. I felt like that smell just lingered on me for a day or so too. Because even we got back to the camp, and we even jumped in the water because we just all felt nasty, and still we smelled like that nasty fish. It was horrible.
Yeah,
that's
the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah, the worst smell. Even when people just cook it, like in my building, and you can smell it in the hallways.
Oh, it's a horrible smell.
Gross.
I had a roommate at one point that used to cook a lot of fish, and I just was like, oh, God.
Yeah, so rotten would be even worse.
It just smells like someone didn't wash. It's just like,
Okay, so Cassandra's asking, what's a new horror film that you're excited to see, like The Black Phone or Nope or even the Winnie the Pooh horror movie?
Oh yeah, I'm kind of excited to see all three of those. Really, I've heard really good things about The Black Phone, especially. It's just
I haven't seen it yet.
It looks like there's like this character. I love the look of the character that Ethan Hawke plays in it. With this mask and everything. I love that look of the character, and I'm hoping that this might be another new horror icon that's coming up. I'm hoping, because we need new blood, and I'm always happy to see new blood. And I'm like, God, it's Ethan Hawke too, and he's fantastic. So that's awesome. But I hear it's a really good movie, and am I right that it was Stephen King's son that is behind it all? And so, Joe.
It's book. It's based on the short story.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So that's what I thought. And I'm like, oh, that's even better. So it's like you got a great writer there behind it. So And I hear he's a fan of Terrifier too. So I would love to chat with him one day. That would be fun. That would be fun. It's like,
Stephen King?
Oh, Stephen King or Joe as well, his son. Yeah, it's just like I hear Joe's a fan of Terrifier, so I was like, oh, that would be a fun team up.
He could write a story about Terrifier. That would be cool.
Yeah, you never know. But yeah, I want to see that. I want to see Nope. I mean, I that's actually aliens are actually a thing that kind of freak me out.
Right.
So that's I think that's gonna be fun. I mean, like the last time something like that freaked me out was like Signs when the alien goes to the birthday party. I was just like, oh god, that moment where you see that the on camera footage of him just walking by. Oh, it's because I've seen UFOs myself several times. Yeah, and it's like that. Oh, there's something just unsettling about what an alien might look like, especially if they're very humanoid in appearance in that way. That's that uncanny valley thing. I think that's why I have that same kind of freak out to like that kind of alien like people do to clowns, because it's that same concept, the uncanny valley, where it's something that's very human like but not
quite.
It's just not quite right. There's something slightly off.
Yeah.
And so I'm very intrigued by Nope. As for Winnie the Pooh, I mean, it just looks like that's going to be just silly but fun.
So and Mask looks corny to me.
Oh yeah, it looks interesting. I'm intrigued, to say the least. I'm very intrigued. I'm very interested to see what they've done with this concept. So yeah, and I like seeing people doing creative things with stories. Beloved characters and stuff like, but adding new twists like that. So it's fun. It's like, and I think horror is a perfect medium to do that kind of experimentation with. It just like it keeps things fresh and new.
Mm-hmm. What's your favorite genre of film?
Horror wise, I love slashers. That's my favorite. Okay. But overall, I love comedies. Okay. I'm a big comedy guy, but it's just like there just haven't been good comedies in about a decade. It's just Damien and I've talked about that several times on set. It's just like, especially our generation growing up in the 80s. Yeah. There were so many great comedies that came out during that time. Yeah. So many. And they still stand the test of time too. Yeah. Yeah. And then you have some movies that came out then that would not be allowed to be made today. Yeah. But are still so funny. You look at Blazing Saddles especially. I mean, that movie was bold. Right. It addressed issues that a lot of people still are afraid to address. Yeah. And it did it in such clever ways. Yeah. And I think it's because it's the genius of both Richard Pryor and Mel Brooks teaming up together to do that. And it's just such a good film, and it has such a good message to it too, I think. And it's like, but it's bold and gutsy. And that's the thing is I think comedy has been neutered in so many ways because everybody's too afraid of offending people.
They're offended by everything. Yeah, it's true. Very, very true.
And art is not supposed to be safe. Right. And that's the thing. And comedy is art. Horror is art. Right. And it's not supposed to be safe. It's supposed to, comedy, especially, the whole idea of the court jester, they were, comedians in general. They're supposed to be, they go back to the court jester because a court jester was the only person that could tell the truth to the king and not get killed.
Right.
Right.
He could tell the truth in a funny, entertaining way and not get killed.
Right.
Comedians are supposed to be the truth tellers. We're supposed to turn the mirror on society and point out the flaws.
Right.
But in an entertaining way.
Yeah.
And that's why I hate that this has happened to so many comedies now. It's just like it's been neutered so much. It's like, no, we need to get back to taking those kind of risks again.
Right.
Like
I agree.
If people are offended, let them be offended. That means you actually got to them. You reached them in some way.
Right.
And maybe they will learn something from what they've been offended by. There's a difference between making fun of people in and making fun with people.
Right.
And it's comedy. You're not supposed to be punching down. It should be to, turn the mirror on us, point out our flaws, but in a positive way, a constructive way, so we can do better.
Yeah, of course. It's kind of funny, through the pandemic, all of this horror and stuff has come out and not comedies, because you think now would be a time that we'd want to laugh.
Oh my God, yeah.
Not be freaked out.
Yeah.
More.
So that's why I love it when I find something that's fresh like that. And it's not really coming out of the US as much. It's coming from like New Zealand,
right,
and like the UK. I mean, you look at like Taika Waititi, the productions that he's been doing. You look at Jojo Rabbit, you look at What We Do in the Shadows, and Our Flag Means Death. And like they have broached subjects that are often taboo in very humorous ways, in very creative ways too, and I love it. It's like, especially What We Do in the Shadows. I love that show. I love that show. It's so fun, so clever and funny.
Right.
And it's just and that's what I want to see more of that.
I haven't seen it.
Terrence is saying Don Rickles was the only guy who could take the piss out of Frank Sinatra.
Damn right. Damn right. That's what we need. We need that. It's just, it's so needed right now.
Scar saying, are you afraid of anything like spiders or moths?
I'm not afraid of spiders. I don't necessarily like them. Moths, I love. Moths are fine. I grew up in the South, so I'm used to bugs. I don't like cockroaches, though. I do not like cockroaches, especially the flying ones. Those are not fun. Those need to die and go straight to hell. But
spiders too.
Yeah, spiders serve a purpose. Cockroaches and mosquitoes and ticks serve no, constructive purpose. They need to go to hell and die.
Spiders need to go too. I'm sorry.
Yeah. They don't scare me though. What does kind of freak me out, and it sounds so juvenile, but it's the dark. I don't like dark voids. I don't like my closet being open when I'm trying to go to sleep, or my bedroom door being open. All those doors have got to be closed.
Yeah.
That's funny,
it's bedroom door for sure.
It just feels like something's watching me.
Yeah.
And
but
you
aren't the clown.
You feel like something. You feel like something lurking over there. You feel like something lurking.
It goes back to my childhood, especially growing up in the South in the woods. You'd be out there in the woods in the night, and you do have things watching you. You will pan your flashlight, and you will see eyes, and that is you don't know what's out there in the dark.
Yeah.
And plus, I believe in the paranormal, and the apartment I live in is haunted. We have things happen from time to time. And so, yeah, I mean, it startles me, but doesn't scare me, because I know the spirit is not trying to harm me or anything like that. It's just making its presence known. But it is still like about a week or so ago, I woke up in the middle of the night and I saw a pair of eyes above my dresser looking at me.
Oh, gosh.
And that was just nothing else, just these eyes. I just saw the reflection off the eyes in my room, and that was just like, okay.
And you ain't move or nothing. You should move, burn the house down.
No, the funny thing is, I growled at it. I just did a little at it. It probably looks so stupid. I did that even in a hotel in Pennsylvania about a month or so ago. There was something that just was walking around in my room, and I wasn't scared. I was pissed off because it kept the bathroom in my hotel room had motion sensing lights, and this thing, and even it had a door that it wasn't a closing hinge door. It was one of those sliding doors, so light would escape all the sides of it. So anytime the light went on in the bathroom, my room lit up like a Christmas tree. Mm-hmm. And so that constantly kept going on during the night. So I was having a hard time sleeping. Then I just heard it walking around in the room. And I got pissed off at it. And I was so tired. I had even taken Benadryl to try to make me go to sleep. And I could think of nothing else because I couldn't move my body, so I just started growling at it. And
That's
it's like,
smart.
and yeah, but at the same time, I'm like, you know how stupid I had to have looked if anybody was watching me. How stupid! Here I am, this skinny little guy in this bed by himself, just going. It's just like, how
At least you scared the ghost away. The ghost was like, I ain't messing with this motherfucker.
Yeah, this guy's got sinus problems.
I wish I'd done that as a kid. I used to sleep like this.
Oh, I still do.
Thing.
I still do because of that. And that's how I feel comfortable. It's like I sleep with my covers over my head, and I just have my nose poking out of the covers. Damien recently took video of me when we were doing reshoots where I was sleeping on an air mattress, and he didn't even know where I was. I woke up because I heard everybody laughing because they just see my nose poking out from underneath the covers. It's just like, yeah, that's all. That's the only way they could tell I was in that bed. Because the air mattress had deflated, and so I'm like down inside of it. So it just looked like just all this pillows and stuff like that. So it's so silly. But yeah, it's like, yeah, that whole idea of a dark void freaks me out. So like when I saw the movie Paranormal Activity, all those scenes where you have the bed and then you also see the bedroom door and that hallway.
Yeah.
Because like, I kept on expecting something to show up in that doorway that I did not want to see. And that's also why the Blair Witch Project freaked me out back in the day too, because I was working in a camp. That's when I was working as a camp counselor. I was working in the woods during that same time period. So I was like, oh, I know how scary it is to be out in the woods at night like that. But also I was an asshole. And I went around and I made those little stick figures and hung them up the trees, and I made rock piles and stuff like that all around the woods around the camp to freak out the other counselors.
Damn, you are mean.
I am.
That's funny though.
I'm a little trickster. But yeah.
I see why you play Art the Clown.
Yeah.
So does your home, do you have is there a history there that you guys think there's a ghost?
I don't know. I have no. I know it's a woman because I've seen her a few times.
Right. So
I call her Matilda.
Matilda.
That's what I just feel the name is, Matilda. Yeah. I don't know. I have no idea.
Huh.
I like my current landlords have no idea. I mean, we had a different landlord before them, and I feel for certain that the guy that was before us didn't even know. It's just like, this is an old building. So it's like, who knows what all has happened? I mean, New York City is such an old city too. So there's, centuries of people that have lived here. So there's no telling what this could be, but I know it means no harm.
Right.
It pulls tricks on us. It will make things disappear for a while and then reappear.
Right.
Days, weeks, months later. It, sometimes closes and opens doors and stuff like that. But at the same time, I know it means no harm because I had this one night where I had this horrible nightmare. And it was like one of those nightmares that I was terrified when I woke up. Right. I don't even remember what the nightmare was about. I just remember waking up terrified.
Right.
And I felt someone sit on the foot of my bed. Well, not the foot of my bed, but on my bed next to me. Right. And then I felt this cold hand just start, stroking my head, trying to calm me like a mom would try to calm a scared child.
Right.
But I did not dare look. I was just like, I'm like, and I even I just talked to her. I was like, I know, and I know what you're trying to do, and I appreciate it, but please stop. You're not helping.
Leave me alone.
Yeah.
As you curl up under the covers.
Yeah, and that's what I did. I just went back under the covers, and it stopped. So I was just like, yeah. But it's like, it meant no harm. It saw that I was scared and was trying to comfort me. So I was like, okay, so it's like we just share the same space. I have no idea what she is or who she is, but I've experienced way too many types of this kind of activity in my life to not believe in it. It's just like I don't know what it is, but I feel like one day science is going to be able to prove it. And it's going to explain it all to us. It's like, oh, this is what it is. It's like something to do with residual energies or something. I have no idea. Who knows?
So would you Would you mess with a Ouija board? Would you
Mm-mm.
play with it? No, right?
Nope. Nope. I just don't want to chance that because
Yeah.
it's like you don't know. You don't know what else is out there, and that's the thing. I've encountered a lot of spirits in my life, but I only encountered one that I felt was malicious, and that was up in Providence, Rhode Island, at the theater I was performing at for Grinch, and it was this room that was right next to the light booth. I like to walk around theaters because there's so much history in a lot of these old theaters throughout the country, and most of them are haunted too. And this one, there's this room right next to the light booth, and my one of my old he's actually my roommate. He and I were exploring, and I put one foot in that room, and every warning device on my body seemed to go off at the same time, just like all those that sixth sense of danger, danger, danger. Like the hairs all stood up on end. Just I almost felt like I was having a panic attack. I just felt like there. And I was like, I just stepped back and I was like, there is something evil in this room. Something bad happened here. I cannot go in this room. And I didn't say that out loud. I just stepped back and I was like, Jason, go in this room. And he stepped about a foot or so in the room and he did the same thing. He just came out. He's like, He's like, And we had other cast members come up, and we all had that same experience with that room. Like no one felt comfortable going into that room. Everybody had that same reaction to it without us telling them. So they say, "Hey, go." We're just like, "Hey, go check out that room. It's really cool." And they're like, okay, like whoa. And we asked. I think if I remember correctly, like we asked the people that worked at the theaters, like, what about this room? They're like, oh yeah, no one ever goes in there. Everybody stays away from that room. It's just like
everybody knows.
I think there's like a murder suicide or something that might have happened there. I'm not sure, but it's like something happened there, and that's the only time I've encountered something that felt like it had malicious intent.
Right.
That it was going to hurt me, and I'm like, nope, nope.
That's the thing. If you're dabbling with a Ouija board and things like that, like what if it is real, and what if something dark attaches to you, and then just like a bunch of negative things start to spiral you down? Like who needs that, right?
Yeah, no, I don't want to chance that.
Yeah,
I've chanced enough just being open to spirits anyway. It's just I feel that to be able to have those kind of experiences, you have to have that open mind to it.
Right.
It's just like I was skeptical about all that kind of stuff when I went to college because I'm a man of science. I like proof.
Right.
I don't believe in just believing things because a book says you should or something like that. I want the proof of it to know it's for certain. So I went to my college a skeptic about about paranormal activity like that. And my college in Alabama is the University of Montevallo. Is the most haunted area of Alabama. And I think it's because it has to do with ley lines. It's also the geographic center of Alabama. So something's weird there. And it's such a common occurrence that, my first semester, I was a believer because stuff happened. I saw doors open and close, drawers open and close, felt things, heard things, all that kind of stuff. I'm like, oh, so it's common where, you go into the cafeteria and like, hey, guess what happened to me last night?
Right.
And people aren't going, oh, you're full of crap, except for maybe the incoming freshman.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, oh, wow, that happened to you. Oh, guess what happened to me? It's just that kind of stuff. It's like, whoa, this is crazy. So it's like, I think if you have an open mind to it, you probably experience more of it. And I think that's why I've had so many experities.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm super, super interested in that kind of stuff.
Oh, it's
supernatural horror is my favorite movie.
Yeah, that got serious real quick.
Oh yeah. Oh, I have to say, like one of the cooler moments I had though was last fall when I was down in Louisville at a convention.
I'll be right back.
Okay.
Sure.
But we went to a they asked some of the celebrity guests if we wanted to have a tour of Waverly Hills Sanatorium.
Okay. Yeah.
Which is a world-renowned haunted place because that was a big TB clinic back in the day where people went to die. So
Yeah.
hundreds of people died there.
Yeah.
And so they have a lot of activity. And we went on a midnight tour of it, and we had some really cool things happen. It was basically me, some of the people that were working the con, and Oliver, who played the young boy in Poltergeist.
Okay.
I even got a photo of a shadow that had manifested on his back that none of us saw.
Yeah.
And it was like, that was not there when I took the picture, but there was a shadow on his back. But the cool thing was, there's this one hallway where the caretaker who was giving us a tour, he's like, okay, anybody want to take a trip down the hall? You know, it's like, just one of you go down the hall. And so Oliver volunteered. He goes down the hall.
Yeah.
And he stops. And he's like, oh, yeah, because we're seeing a lot of shadow people and stuff like that.
Right.
And he saw some shadow people. But then all of a sudden, this shadow person manifested itself between him and us in the middle of the hallway. And so and it was just kind of just standing there.
Right.
And our guide was like, Oliver, come back. He's like, I want to try something. This has only happened once or twice before. I want to see it happens again. So our tour guide stood in the middle of the hallway. He's like, guys, watch what happens around me. And he walked the hallway with his arms outstretched, and he saw that shadow figure come off the wall, walk up behind him, and it looked like his entire silhouette expanded, and it walked right through him. And then we just felt this cold rush of air go through all of us.
Wow.
It was the coolest thing. It was like, whoa. And even the caretaker freaked out a little bit. He's like, he had chills all over him. He was just like, wow. He said, like I said, that's only happened once or twice. I just wanted to see if I could make it happen again.
Yeah. Oh, crazy.
It's like, did you see what happened? It's like, oh, yeah, we saw exactly what happened. We saw that thing walk right through you.
Yeah. Oh,
and I mean, I heard some voices sometimes just right in my ear.
Yep.
Walking around like someone whispering.
Right.
I got touched a few times as well. It was just like, it was so cool. I love it. It's like, but those weren't people that were trying to harm us. Those were the former patients there.
Yeah.
Just, you know, they're I guess trapped there, and they're just reaching out. They're curious about us.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think as long as you respect their world, they'll respect you.
Right. So on those tours, they have a lot of things happen then for people.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Cool. I'd love to do that.
They give regular tours there now at night, especially if people, ghost hunters and stuff like that. They do those tours, and our guide was like, because we had a lot of things happen the night. He's like, oh, this wasn't even a very active night.
Oh.
I was like, really? He's like, oh yeah, we've had. He's like, we had some stuff, but like there have been nights where it's been just constant stuff happening. Because at the same time we were there was a film crew that was filming there too, and they were all having their own experiences too.
Right.
Which is cool.
Yeah,
so that probably stirred up some activity and stuff like that too. So
yeah, where I live, there's lots of haunted stuff here in British Columbia, but I haven't seen or heard a lot of things of the stories I've heard about. But I had one experience. So we have this really old theater. It's called, I think it's the Royal Theater, and it's downtown. And I was doing an outdoor art market, and it was early morning on a Sunday, and we were sitting and setting up our tables. And I looked across the way, and I saw this girl walking, and I blinked for a second, looked back, and I saw a really old lady following her, kind of hunched over. And then I looked away and looked back, and I thought, where did the lady go?
Yeah.
So the person I was with said, run up to that girl and see if her grandmother passed away or something. But I didn't have the courage to do it. But that theater is supposedly very haunted. So, I can't. I saw it clear as day, and she was gone. And there's just where did she go? I don't know where she went. Right?
Don't know. It's It's fun. I also remember like when I was in Rochester. Yeah, it was Rochester, New York, when I was with Grinch. The theater we were in, they had a stagehand that had died there, and he was known for pinching people's butts. Oh. And I got my butt pinched when I was getting water one night out of the bubbler. And it wasn't my actual butt; it was the costume, my Who butt, that it got pinched. But I felt and I was like, and I look, and there's no one there, but I distinctly felt something come up and like pinch my butt and move it. And I was like,
that's hilarious.
I was like, oh, cool, it happened. And they're like, oh yeah, that was such and such and so and so. I said, that is so cool. Other people are like, oh my God, weren't you freaked out? I'm like, no, I thought it was cool.
I'm going to catch up on some of the comments here. So
Sure.
Castellar Garcia, hello. And they say they loved Terrifier.
Thank you.
Okay, Curly, you're back just in time. Echo's teasing you again about
Spiders. Echo, stop playing with me, yo. Spiders need to be squashed. Matter of fact, I was chasing behind one today and it got away from me. So, like, I'm kind of scared because I think the motherfucker's somewhere up here regrouping. So, like, he's coming after me later. Yeah, he is. He's coming after me later.
He's got a little switchblade.
I was trying to chase behind him, but it got away, so.
Dancing, his mom hung a marionette from Mexico with a big head from a coat hanger in the closet when I was a kid. Thanks for the nightmares, Mom. Yeah, those are scary.
That will do it. Oh my God, that reminds me. It was like there was this painting. My aunt one time did this painting of these 3 Gregorian monks, and my grandparents used to have that hanging in in the bedroom that I used to sleep in as a kid, and it freaked me out so much. They had to take it off the wall every time I came there because I would refuse to go in the room. It's that if you saw Ip Chapter 1, the painting that's in the Jewish kid is afraid of the skinny.
Yeah.
It's that type of painting. It just looked that just like creepy. Oh God, creepy type. And the thing was, when I turned 18, my aunt handed me this big package, and I'm unwrapping it, and it was that picture. And she gave it to me as a joke, and I'm like, oh no, take that away, take it away. I would not allow that painting in my house. I have a feeling she's gonna give that to me in her will, and I'm gonna be like, no. Someone has to burn this thing because that painting always is just.
Yeah.
So I can understand that having that marionette hung in the closets, that type of. No.
Terrence says his showed him an American Werewolf in London when I was 4. Freaked me right out.
That's understandable, especially that transformation scene, which I still to this day declare is the best practical effect ever in a movie. That is just
I agree.
Amazing work. I'm like, that's just wow.
I keep hearing that. I have to watch it finally one day. I keep hearing how good that transformation
is. It's the
best.
I haven't
seen it yet.
You will every werewolf transformation scene since then and before just looks like crap compared to that one. It's just like, because that is all practical effects, no CG or anything like that, and it's just amazing puppetry.
Yeah, absolutely.
My favorite one was always in the Company of Wolves. I thought that was a really good transformation.
I haven't seen that one.
You need to see this one.
It's really good.
Just Google that transformation scene and watch it on YouTube. I'm sure it's there. It's amazing because you're gonna like, how is this not CG?
Okay.
How is this not CG? And that came out like what, early 80s or something like that. So it's just like
so they did a really good job. Huh?
Yeah, I when I went to Universal Studios as a kid in Florida, they had a movie magic show there, and they showed how they did that transformation scene, and I was like, I was stunned. I'm like, that is amazing.
Oh.
Yeah. Griffin.
Oh, what about Michael Jackson transformation and Thriller? That freaked me out as a kid.
That freaked me out. That freaked me out too, because I remember when that video first came on. I was a little kid, and my sister's 13 years older than me, so she was all excited about that. So she sat me down in front of it, and I'm watching it, and then that happens. I was like, ah! And I ran out of the room.
As a kid, that scared me so much. Like,
God. Yeah.
Tila's saying, do you have any pets, like cats or something? Pets are so protective with this type of stuff.
Yes, we do have a cat. It's my roommate's cat. I'm surprised she hasn't tried to make an appearance. She usually likes to crawl behind me or something like that during these things. But yeah. So I'll see her sometimes just looking, just staring at a place on the wall or something like that, or right behind me at something, She's just on like alert, or sometimes she'll just start meowing at something, or just randomly just start running away from something. And the cat we had before her would not go into one part of the apartment. She just refused to go into this one hallway of the apartment where we've had a lot of activity, and we would put her there, and she would just dart away from there every single time.
She's like, "Yep, nope."
Yep, nope. She was like, "Nope, nope." Now Dandy has no problem with it. She just observes.
Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah.
They're talking about dolls. Why are they talking about dolls? The movie.
Because dolls are creepy.
Okay.
They can't. Maybe the doll's behind you.
Oh, they used to dolls.
Dolls, an amazing movie.
Dolls.
Oh yeah, that Dolls
Dolls.
movie. That one was good. The Dolls from 1987.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I love them creepy dolls in that movie.
I don't think I've seen that, but I can imagine that's pretty creepy. That's something that creeps me out. Oh my god, that reminds me. On Terrifier 2, we had some crazy stuff happen on that set. It's in this one location we filmed at in Philly called Fright Factory, which is one of those indoor haunted houses that you go through and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And this place is built on a grid, like an energy grid, so they can turn off power to different parts of the haunted house and stuff like that. So this all happened basically on the same night too, I think. So like we're in this one hallway, and our DP George is trying to set up a shot and everything like that, and he just gets really irritated and just starts yelling. He's like, "Phil," he's talking to our producer, like, "Phil, stop walking in front of the camera." And Phil is not near him. Phil is like a good 20 feet away talking to Damien about stuff, so he's not even aware of what's going on. I see what's going on. I'm like, "George, there's no one walking in front of the camera right now." He's like, "No, yeah, there's someone walking in front of the camera. He just keeps pacing in front of the camera. And it's ruining, like, I'm trying to set up the shot. I can't see what I'm doing." I'm like, "Dude, there's no one there." He's like, "No, man, I keep seeing it. There's something walking in front." I'm like, "There's nothing there, man."
Creepy.
And a little later on, like my co-star and I, Lauren Lavera, we're about to start filming, and there's a door behind us to another room that's open that doesn't need to be open. And they're like, "Hey, can one of you guys go shut the door?" So Lauren and I are both getting up to go shut the door, and the door just shuts itself. And we're like, "Oh, well, thank you." Cool. So everybody just took a moment. There was like, "That just happened, right? Okay." But here's the thing that you remind me of. It was like I go back to the whole energy grid on this place. So they only had power to the rooms that, like, the one area of the haunted house that we were using to film in.
Right.
They had power on it there in our holding room. Everybody else was shut off. No electricity going in those areas. Well, there's this one room in the haunted house that's full of dolls. And there's this one doll in this room. There's this doll on the swing of this little kid, and it's motion activated. So when something sets it off, it starts swinging and starts playing this creepy little song and just starts saying, like, "Come play with me."
Oh, God.
So it's creepy enough.
Yeah.
So we're in this, on set filming, and it's like 2-3 o'clock in the morning, and all of a sudden we just hear in that other room, "Come play with me."
Oh, God.
And everybody that's on, there is on set with us.
Right.
There's no power to that room.
Yeah.
We're all there. So there's no one else to go trigger that thing. Let alone it doesn't have power so it can even turn on.
Very creepy.
So we're like, "What?" And we told, like, the owners, and they're like, "Yeah, there's no power to that area. We did not have power on at all." So I was like, but they're like, "Yeah, that happens a lot here." So especially in that room.
Everywhere.
That would
they're like, "We didn't want to tell you, but that room has stuff happen all the time in it."
Yeah.
It's like, "Oh, we can tell. We can tell."
Ghosts everywhere. I swear, ghosts be clocking in and out at my job sometimes. No, because we have
clocking you in out.
We have, like, the clock out machine that when you put your finger, the voice says, like, damn, I'm drinking now. I forgot what it says, but it says something along the lines of like, you clocked out or you clocked in or whatever. And sometimes
Yeah.
nobody's touching it. Nobody's putting the finger on it. Oh,
Yeah,
I remember what it says. It says verified, thank you. So sometimes nobody touching it, but it says
Uh-huh.
verified, thank you. So like, what happened? A ghost. Ghost is doing it.
I
There
Does
has
don't
it?
to be a
know.
ghost.
Just
Do you
don't
get freaked
know.
out?
Man, it's weird. Every time that
It
happens, everybody
is.
just stares at it like, what the fuck? Because
I'd be
nobody
like,
touched
I
it.
quit.
I love that kind of stuff, though. It's like,
Yeah, well, I
it's like
mean,
other
a lot
people.
of people die at my job, so it will
Yeah,
make sense that they will have ghosts there.
God, that would suck. Spending your afterlife at work.
Stuck.
Right? I would hate that shit. I saw that meme one time when they
Oh,
said, imagine realizing that, no, it said about the Sixth Sense. They said how Bruce Willis' character was dead, but still going to work. That would
yeah.
piss me off.
Yeah.
Oh God. Yeah. If
I would be so mad.
oh, I'll be furious. That's probably why some of those ghosts are mad. It's like, damn it, I got me
Right?
stuck here.
Maybe like nobody told them that they dead and they keep going to their day job. Then one day they realize that they dead for
Yeah.
like years and they didn't have to go to their day
Oh
job. So they
God.
like, fuck.
Imagine that being like a waiter and you die and you're still trying to wait tables. It's like, oh
Oh,
God.
Karen.
What?
Terrence asked a pretty cool question in the chat there. He
Okay, just a
said,
sec.
what can you tell us about working with WWE legend Chris Jericho? That's an interesting
Oh
question.
yeah, yeah. Well, I can't reveal too much, of course, but yeah, Jericho definitely has a role in Terrifier too. I can't say more than that because who knows where this might lead in future things. But yeah, Chris is awesome. Chris is awesome.
Hmm.
I mean, he became a friend of the Terrifier family way back a few years ago when I did a podcast with him when we were at a convention together. So that itself was trippy enough because I watched him wrestle back in college and stuff like that. So I was like,
Right.
oh my God. I'm sitting there at my table at the convention and I have a line of people and I'm signing stuff. So I didn't see what was happening, but I could sense someone was moving through the line and I thought they were cutting and I was about to get upset with someone. Like, you got to go stand in the back of the line, buddy. And I look up and
Mhm.
it's Chris looming right over me. He's like, hey, man. I'm like,
That must be
oh,
intimidating.
yeah, because he's huge. He's like, hey,
I
you want to be
mean,
on my podcast? I'm
shit.
like, yeah. And he like invited me up to his hotel room and stuff like. So I go up to his hotel room later on that night to do the podcast, and he's like, oh, sorry, man, I'm running a little bit late, but come on in, sit down. You're welcome to watch and everything like that. And it was him and Diamond Dallas Page doing a podcast together. So I'm like sitting in this room just watching Jericho and DDP, shoot the shit together. And I'm like, guys, I used to watch wrestle all the time back in the day. And I'm like, oh my God. I was, trying not to fanboy out. So I was like, this is so cool. It was
That
just like,
gotta be.
so it was cool. It's cool being able to work with, Chris on a production
Right.
together. And I'm like, hopefully this leads to other things as well. So
That's
that's something
crazy.
that's really been cool is like, like I've discovered there's a lot of, wrestlers that are fans of Terrifier. Like there's a lot of the wrestling world loves it. Like Mick Foley, he and his whole entire family are huge Terrifier fans.
Hmm.
And I
Okay.
love Mick because we've been to a lot of conventions together and we've become
Yeah.
friends through this. And like he came bounding up to me one day. He's like, "Hey, David." I'm like, "Huh?" He's like, "Hey, so my sons are huge, fans of Terrifier. Is there any way I can get an autograph?" And I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll be happy to. And he starts trying to take money out. I'm
Oh.
like, dude, keep your money. Are you kidding me? I'm honored to give your sons an autograph. And we're at another convention last year down in Florida. His sons were there, and he's like, "Hey, my sons are wondering if they can get their picture with you." And I'm like, "Of course, bring them over." It's like they've just been too shy to come ask you. I'm like, "Dude,
Right.
bring them over." So I had my fan, like I'm getting that, but I had my pick made with his
Right.
whole entire family. That was just his daughter wasn't there, but the rest of them were, and I thought that was just so cool. I was like, he's such a cool dude. He's such a nice guy. So it's really cool. I love those kind of moments where it's like, oh my god, I used to watch you all the time, and now you're a fan too. That's insane.
So do people like recognize you a lot for being a Terrifier?
Um, Outside of the conventions, not so much because I don't think a lot of people know what I look like in my day to day life.
Right.
It's
Fair
kind of
enough.
it's nice in its own way though.
It's
It,
kind of
it
good, right?
it affords me that kind of anonymity, and so I look at Doug Jones. He's able to live that same kind of life where people know who Doug Jones is by his work. Yeah, I mean they might not know what he looks like in person or what his name is, but they know his movies and his
Right.
TV appearances. It's like, oh, you just rattle off his resume for like, oh my god, that guy. And I'm like, yeah, and that's what I want. I want to be that guy. So I mean, I can live my own private life, but
Right.
also, have that other life too, where it's like, oh yeah, a little bit of fame and stuff like that. But I don't have the paparazzi outside of my door at all times, trying to see what all I'm eating or who I'm in a relationship with or whatever. It's like,
No, because everybody's scared of you.
yeah,
Right? They think you're gonna cut them in half while having them
It's
hang
so
upside
funny.
down.
It's so funny.
That's the
I'll tell you.
trade-off.
I'll tell you a little secret. All of us guys that play these horrible monsters in all these horror movies, we're all big teddy bears in real life. It's just, it's so funny how that is. They're like, I've met all these guys that played Jason and Mike Myers, Freddy Krueger, Pinhead, all
Yeah.
most of the leather faces. I would say for the most part, with the rare exception of maybe one, are
They all
just big, huge. Oh yeah, Bill Mosley. Oh my god, I love Bill.
Yeah.
But they're all just the biggest sweethearts, just
Yeah.
gentle giants in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
cool.
And it's
Yeah, it's cool.
and I mean Kane Hodder is a hoot. He is so funny. He seems like he's a big tough grump, but he's such a
Right.
big teddy bear too. At the same time, he's so funny. He's so funny.
And that guy is huge.
Oh, he's huge. He's so strong too. I was like, if I've been in one of his headlocks before. It's like, oh my god.
Mm. Yeah, he looks like he could put you in a headlock. He's
Oh, he
very
can.
like intimidating.
He can.
He looks like he can crush people's skulls with his
Oh
bare
yeah.
hands or some shit.
Oh yeah. I'm glad to be on his good side. It's like
Right?
Kane's he's an intimidating dude. It's just like, but in a good way though, because he's such a good guy too. He's really good to the fans. He's one of those guys who will sit at the bar after the con's done and shoot the shit with the fans all night long and stuff like that, which I love.
Yeah.
Mosley's like that as well. Of course, Felissa Rose. They're just
Right.
like and that's how Damien and I are too. We like to go to the after parties and stuff like that as well. It's just I think it's fun to do. It's a good way to interact with the fans that have put you where you are.
Right.
They can get to know you as a person instead of just being that creature they see on screen.
Right. Yeah. That's why I love doing the interviews and stuff, because
Yeah.
it's so great getting to know the people, the making of the movie, because so many movie reviewers now just trash movies without even really knowing what goes into it, and a lot goes into making a movie, good or bad. So I try to find good stuff in them, and so I find the only way you can do that is to talk to the people that are making the films.
Movies are hard to make. The people you don't people don't realize how much really goes into making a movie until you've actually made one. It's just trying to get it. If you don't have a studio already behind you, just trying to get distribution can be, whew.
Absolutely.
Because everybody's trying to nickel dime you the whole entire time.
Right.
It's just there's so many hoops, and I've learned so much of this just being on, doing both of ththese films. That side of the business, I've learned so much about it. It's like it's not easy. I mean, especially for the crew members, like people don't understand. It's like they, the cast, the cast members, they're the ones that get all the accolades, but you don't see all the stuff that's going behind the scenes.
Right.
It's like I sit there and I sit on my butt and do a lot of waiting.
Right.
But I look at my crew members. They're hustling those 12 plus hours they're on set the whole entire time.
Right.
They're lugging equipment around, setting things up. They don't get time to sit down and chit chat that much like I do.
Right.
and they don't get the recognition for it. And they work hard. They work very, very hard. Not just them, but also the stunt actors. You know,
Right.
they make us look good as actors.
Right.
They make me look like a badass in films. And they don't get the recognition. I still think, you know, stunt actors should get their own category in the Academy Awards.
Right.
But isn't there like I remember years ago there was, I don't know if it's still running, but it used to be like a award show for stunt doubles.
I believe so. But I feel that they should also have more mainstream recognition for the work they
Right,
do.
definitely. Because they put themselves in risk.
They literally do. They,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, many have died,
Right.
so a movie can be made.
Right. That's true. Like sometimes movies are even dedicated to stunt doubles that like died on set and
Yeah,
shit.
I've had several of my stunt actor friends that have had other colleagues and friends die on set
Wow.
doing
Shit.
a stunt.
Yeah.
Because it's
That's
very
wild.
risky. It's very risky. I mean, you have these people, because they all different ones have their different specializations that they do. You have those stunt drivers out there that do amazing things. You have those that, you know, are trained to be set on fire.
Oh, I could never do that. That's so
No,
scary to be set
no,
on
because if you
fire.
just breathe in, you could breathe that into your lungs and burn your lungs. You
Yeah,
have
or
to
you could
be
get like
trained
burned
to
to
do
a
this.
crisp.
Yes, it's very dangerous. You have other stunt actors that do the falls, like those great falls from several stories.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's just what they do. And sometimes they do more than, you know, they specialize in more than one area. And it's we had a stunt actress on Terrifier 2 that did both the burn stuff, like, you know, and she also works doing the fall work and stuff like that as well. And it's just like, God, you're a badass.
Yeah.
It's like on the other Christmas movie that I've been doing, I had my own stunt actor that did a lot of scenes for me, and yeah, I want to use him in future films because we're so much alike physically and also mentally. We have the same instincts, especially when it comes to comedy.
Right.
So I'm like, yeah, this is who I want to be my future, you know, go to double in the in future films as well.
Right.
And he made me look like a badass. And he was also there, not just when he was doing the stunts, but he was on the sidelines when I was doing my own stunts in fight scenes and stuff like that to give me tips. He was there to, you know, encourage me and help me out and everything like that. And he was a coach in a lot of ways too. And we had our own stunt coordinator as well. You know,
Right.
so it was so cool having those guys working with me. And I actually sometimes I did most of my own stunts in this movie, but it was nice to know I had someone there that I could rely on. If I couldn't do it, he could do it, and he would look awesome doing it, and he would make me look awesome doing it, and he would make the film look awesome doing it. So it's like it's cool. It's cool, and what they do is so cool. I love watching them work.
Yeah.
Yeah, those guys definitely deserve like recognition.
Mm-hmm.
They work hard.
They do. They do.
But you know, that's
ever want to
like-
direct?
Oh God, no.
No.
Oh God, no.
Next question.
Oh God, no. I did that once in high school. I directed a show and it drove me nuts because
Yeah.
I obsess over everything.
Right.
It's a lot of responsibility.
Yeah, I can be. It is, and I can be such a perfectionist, and I worry about every little thing.
Right.
Plus, it always annoyed me when I would show someone like the type of pratfall I want someone to do, and I would show them over and over and over, and they just couldn't get it. And I'm like, so frustrating. And I'm just like, it's like I know I could do it better, but I'm the director, so I can't do it. But it's like, I was just constantly. I felt like I had a constant knot in my stomach the whole entire time I was doing it. Even when I went home at night, I was in bed, just curled up in the fetal position, going, "Oh God, oh God, oh God." I just can't direct. I like to just be in charge of myself,
Right.
and just worry about myself.
Yeah.
Because I worry enough about myself and what I got to do. I don't want to worry about everybody else. That's just I'm like, those that can direct, more power to you. I just can't. That's not for me.
Yeah.
That is just
So-
not for me.
Have you ever worked with like any directors that were like real dicks? Because I know some directors have that reputation.
I have. I'm not going to name any names, but I mean, they're not really in the industry. They're more back home and like community theater and stuff like that. But
Right.
I worked with some of those, and it's just especially it's really challenging when you work with a director that's directing something they shouldn't be directing. It's not their forte. It's not their style. Like you have someone that's good at directing dramas, but they're trying to direct a comedy, and they don't understand what's funny and what's not funny, and they get upset. You know, I had a director for a production I did one time of the 39 Steps. I did it multiple times, so that's not telling you who the director is. But this director, 39 Steps is a show where I played 30 plus characters, and I was cross-dressing everything. It's a hysterical show.
Right.
A lot of physical comedy in that one. And like this one character I played is the first time one of us guys that play, there are two clowns in it. There are four characters in 39 Steps. There's the male lead that plays the male lead. You have the female lead that plays the three main females in the show. Then you have the two clowns that play everybody else. So I've played both clowns. So I've played over 60 characters in this show.
Wow.
And one that's the first female character that comes out in the show, and it's a scullery maid. And an old British overweight scullery maid that's a chain smoker.
Right.
And it's just very cockney. It's just I was having so much fun with it, but they had me in a fat suit. And it's the first time I wore it, and I came out and I didn't realize my boobs were lopsided when I came out on stage. And I just totally made a thing of it, like, oh dear, and I just straightened my boobs up. And it was during rehearsal, our dress rehearsal, and the director just stops the show. He's like, "No, don't ever do that. That's not funny at all." The whole entire cast and crew was dying laughing. The people in the audience that were there were dying laughing, but he stops it because he didn't think it was funny, even though everybody else clearly did.
Right.
He's like, "What are you doing? That is not funny at all. Fixing your boobs is not fun." I'm like,
yes, it
no,
is.
But it is funny.
just the idea of a man coming out dressed as a woman and a skinny man dressed as a woman in a fat suit is hilarious to people.
Yeah.
That is just physical comedy 101.
It is funny.
It is just like, oh my God. It was that kind of, we had to deal with this struggle with this director during the whole entire production.
Mm.
And it was just
Isn't that kind of like sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, it's okay.
It's like a troll. Sorry,
It's okay.
like
Please,
troll
sir.
2 situation when the director he and his wife wrote the script and they didn't speak English, but the cast tried to point out to them like certain things that doesn't sound right, but they was very adamant because they had a vision. So the movie turned out to be like what it was.
Yeah, that's exactly what that was like. It was just, he wanted this to be, when it was on Broadway and how it's written to be as a show, it's supposed to be slapstick comedy, minimalistic type of show. He wanted it to look like we were doing a radio serial on stage and make it more dramatic and serious. I'm like, but that's not how this is written.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It's we're supposed to be using common day things as props to make it look like we're on a train or something like that. So those situations of just this madcap group of actors trying to create the show out of nothing is what makes it funny. And he just didn't get that. And it was a constant struggle with this director. But the good thing was, after we opened, he never came back to see the show. So for the rest of the run, the stage manager was like, guys, run the show the way it's supposed to run now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we would do. And of course, the things that he said weren't going to get a laugh got huge laughs.
Gotta laugh, right?
And
Because
it's
he's like in tune with what's actually funny. That's awkward.
Yeah, it was so awkward. But yeah, even that first night when he was there, we did some things that he told us not to do, just to prove it to him. Like, no, this is going to get a laugh, and you hear the whole entire audience just guffawing out there. And it's like, see, that's what you got to put your ego aside. Is
right.
Like, if it's getting a laugh and this is a comedy, then you should just be happy. But I've had this kind of, I've had directors that have I one time had a director that I was playing a part that he had played before.
Right.
So he was trying to get me to play the part the way he played it instead of let me interpret the character my own way. And he would try to micromanage everything I did to every little turn I would make with my head. And it was just, it's like, this is not my performance. I feel like a puppet. This is not authentic. And eventually he relented. It's like, okay, you know what? I think you're right. I think your interpretation is the better interpretation for this version of the show. I'm like, yes.
Right.
This is what works. And I was glad he was able to finally see that, but it was quite the struggle because it was his ego getting in the way. It's like, well, I played it this way, so you need to play it this way. It's like, no.
Well, you know what? Speaking of creative interpretation, I see Terrence has another interesting question in there. Karen.
I've been trying. Okay, go ahead.
He says, what sort of creative influence did you have over the character of Art the Clown? I think that's a good question.
That is a good question. I had a lot of that actually, but it's a co-creative influence. I guess you could say, because I first of all I did look at Mike Giannelli's original interpretation of the character. I didn't want to stray too far from what he did because that's who the character was initially supposed to be. So I wanted to keep that there, but build on it. Like expand what he had done with it. And one of those main things I want to do was expand more into Art being Art the Clown and bringing more of the silent comedy clowning nature to the character. And so that's where it works really well, Damien and I, because Damien is an expert in horror. He knows how to scare people. I know how to make people laugh. And that's how we work together.
Right.
And we were just constantly playing off of each other. And he would let me, sometimes he knew exactly what he wanted me to do. He's like, I want you to come in here and do this. Stand there frozen with like doing that whole thing. And then I was like, this is weird, but okay, I don't get it until I saw the playback. I'm like, oh God, I see why. Yeah, okay, yeah, that works. Wow, that's freaky. But other times he's like, I don't know what I want. Like at the pizzeria scene, he's like, I don't know what I want. I'm just gonna let the camera roll and you just play. And so I was doing all the different faces and all that. That was all me. He just let me play around with it and see what we came up with. And so that's what's great about working with Damien. He's a very actor-friendly director. He knows what he wants, but he's also willing to listen to other ideas, not just from myself, but other actors and sometimes even the crew members. Because it's a very collaborative effort on set where we all want the film to be the best it can be. So if someone has a cool idea, let's hear it. We'll give it a shot. And so we would do multiple takes on the same scene in different ways to see what works best. Sometimes we would do a serious take. Sometimes we do a really scary take. Sometimes we do a funny take.
Right. And
just to see what worked best in the editing room. So he had options. He had plenty of options. And that was on part one. Part two, because he didn't know that about me as an actor, that I like to play. I like to just experiment and see what I can come up with in the moment. Part two, he deliberately wrote scenes like that for Art, where he's like, he gave the bare bones description of what was happening in the scene, but he's like, Art plays. Right. And we were like, we don't know what I'm going to do until we got to set and I got to see what was in my environment. And then I would just take a few minutes to look at my props and everything that were around me, and I would come up with a scene. And I would run it by him like, hey, this is my idea. Let's do this. He's like, cool, that sounds good. Let's roll it. And then we'll tweak it in ways.
Right. Do you find being a perfectionist that's a scary thing, or you kind of enjoyed that method?
I do enjoy it. I do, because I'm a perfectionist. So is he. Yeah, right. But at the same time, it's like, it's weird because you have that freedom to experiment, so you can find new ways to do things that actually might be more perfect,
right?
That perfectly fit that moment that you might not have thought of originally. But then when you find that moment, that's when the perfectionist side comes in,
right?
And you're like, okay, this is how I need to do it. Especially with comedy. Comedy is all about timing, so you have to hit the proper beats. And we'll sometimes do multiple takes. It's like, well, that just didn't feel right. And I'll know when we finally get the right take. I feel it intuitively. I just know it. And even the non-comedic takes, I just know. I just like, oh, that was the take. That felt right. That everything just felt right. And I'm like, yep, that's the one we're totally using. But that comes down to the perfectionist side. It's like we keep doing that until we get that take.
Right.
That we want, that we know is going to work.
Big question. Is there going to be a Terrifier 3?
Oh, of course. That's what we fully intend to do.
That's cool.
I will say that Terrifier 2 ends with in the same kind of way Terrifier 1 ended, with a little coda where it's like showing possibilities for going forward. But of course, a lot of that's dependent, on the fans,
right.
If there's the demand for a part 3.
Which it needs to be a whole franchise. Shit.
Oh yeah, I feel pretty confident. I feel pretty confident people are going to want a part 3 after part 2.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Terrifier is just such an interesting character.
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah. He's such a fun character. And that's what I love about him. There's so many possibilities with him. I mean, I don't think he could just necessarily be confined to Halloween. He can be confined to other days of the year and besides Halloween. That'd it'd be interesting to see what he would do on Christmas or something like that, or Easter, or just a Wednesday.
Terrence says
Terrence has a good point.
The character is with his face. It's a fun character to watch.
Thank you.
His face just does so much in the movie.
Well, that's what I love about the makeup. It allows for that because he's not he doesn't talk. There's no sounds that come out of him. And with him having a very expressive face, he's able to differentiate himself from all those other horror villains, those silent villains, because he's not wearing a mask that obscures his face. So he's able to emote in ways that other silent characters are not able to. And he's able to have that personality and charisma that those other silent characters haven't been able to have. But characters like Freddy Krueger and Chucky, etc., have been able to have. It's fun. It's a fun challenge too, because it's the freedom I have. Just like I get to exaggerate everything. It's just a lot of fun.
Right.
Oh, Terrifier makeup always creeped me out, especially like the fact that his teeth look kind of bloody, like he be eating people. That always creeped me the fuck out. Like, do he be eating people? I think he do.
Oh yeah. He definitely does. He loves his finger foods.
I like the laugh. I like the laugh. Crazy things, and then there's that silent laugh and smile. Is so creepy. That's
so disconcerting because you expect a sound to come out. On the same like when he gets stabbed, there's no sound. You see him scream in pain and agony, but there's no sound.
True.
I love that. It's very, very weird. Very inhuman in that way.
Icelord saying that scene in the diner is a good example. That smile art flashes the gals on there kind of scared the shit.
Yeah.
And that solidified to me how dumb those girls were. Like, you all don't see he's psycho.
It's like, do not touch the hat. Bad idea. Don't touch the hat. Also, that's one of those things too, like Catherine was playing around so much with that too, and I loved it. Like the whole thing with her taking the hat off and slapping back on my head. And her booping my nose. God, when she booped my nose, I was like, oh, thank you for doing that, because that gave me the idea for when I cut her in half to come back and boop her nose back. And it was like,
wait, so was that like improvised when she
that was
booped your
improvised.
nose?
That was not the script. Boop the nose was her. And then she gave me that idea to come back and boop her. It's like the full circle with that. So it's like, I loved it. And I as soon as she did that, when we cut, I was like, Damien, I already got an idea for her kill. I was like, can we? He's like, well, if we have time, please let me.
Yeah, that's like the best when actors improvise, isn't it? Like those make for the best scenes in movies. Because whenever I read like on IMDb that certain scenes were improvised, I'm like, damn, no wonder I like that particular scene so much. And come to find out it was improvised.
It was just one
that
of those
little
organic
thing
things.
was really cool because it gives you that insight a little bit into your character's past and what you're about, what's going on in your head, but not quite. I love that.
Yeah, it's like he doesn't like be touched on the face per se. That's basically a death sentence for you, I guess you could say. Because like the two people that touched him on his face had horrible endings.
By hypocritical much, don't he touch people on their face too all the time?
Oh, that's what that is. Yeah, that's something I've noted to Damien. It's like, God, he's always destroying people's faces and heads. It's like that's kind of his thing. He disfigures people.
Maybe he got an insecurity. Maybe he like really crazy looking underneath his makeup. No, not a Jabba Jew, but maybe like he went through some trauma. Maybe he got burned in a fire or something.
Yeah, it's always
and he
possible.
covers it up with makeup.
That's definitely something we can explore possibly one day. But yeah, that's something that's just always been in my mind. It's like he has a thing for disfiguring faces.
Right? Because he fucked up this one girl up at the end.
Ate her face.
She reminded me of that girl that got her face ate by a monkey. Remember that story? Yeah.
Damien and I were talking about that even recently, about just how I think that was like one of his inspirations for that.
Oh, see? Remember when we did the watch party? I think I said something about that, how it reminded me of that girl so strongly.
Tore her
At least I was thinking that.
off.
I don't know if I actually said it, but
it totally does.
Yeah, like as soon as I saw that scene in the movie, when I first watched it, it gave me like flashbacks for the story with the girl that got the chimpanzee in her face.
Attacked her, Terrence is asking if you got to keep any props.
No, I didn't keep any props from either film. Well, maybe in part 2 I did sneak one prop off the set, but I can't say what it was because I don't want to spoil anything. But it was something that was easy, and it's like, I got it somewhere. I got to find it. But it's like,
you should at least kept your like mask for the Terrifier.
Those things fall apart. It's, the first one, we didn't even think about keeping things because we didn't expect the movie to become what it was. We're just like, oh well, we just tossed it. Like my mask, we just tore off my face in the night and threw them away. We didn't think. Now for part 2, we kept the mask because we used a lot of those for Indiegogo campaign backers.
Okay.
So I would sign them and we'd give them, I think, to backers and stuff like that.
So
that's a good question right there.
Is there a backstory for Art the Clown?
Oh yeah. There's definitely a backstory for him. That's the very first thing I asked Damien on set. My first day on set was, what's his backstory? And at the time, he didn't really have much of a backstory thought out for him. And I'm like, okay, cool. We'll come up with it together. And we have. And we might address it one day. We might reveal all that. We might not.
Right.
But I just wanted it for myself so I could understand the character better.
Right.
But because I like the mystery behind the character. I think that's part of the fun of him, is not truly knowing what he is. But one thing Damon did express to me, he does not want people to have empathy for Art. He doesn't want him to have one of those backstories where people feel sorry for him.
Oh, hell no! I don't feel sorry for him at all. He's a monster.
Yeah, exactly, and that's how we want him to be. We don't want people to feel sorry for him. He is just malicious evil through and through.
Dude is evil.
There's nothing redeemable about him. There's no true kindness in him at all. He is evil incarnate.
I mean, like, after I've seen how he treated Homegirl at the end of All Hallows Eve, I mean, I know you didn't play him in that one, but still, like, that was so messed up what he did to the girl in that one at the end. So now I definitely don't have no empathy for him.
No.
He's a fun character to watch. He's like an iconic character, but no empathy for them.
So many of these other horror icons have those kind of empathetic backgrounds. You look at Jason and Mike Myers, they kind of have, especially Jason, he has a very sad background and stuff like that. You understand why he's doing, Freddy's out for revenge for his murder. It's like, but Art, I don't look at him as being out for revenge. I think I feel like the cat lady summed him up quite well. He's not doing this for those kind of purposes. He's doing this because he
For
finds it
fun.
funny.
Yeah. He
And
just woke up
that's
one day and he chose
yeah,
chaos.
yeah. It's like he's not angry at anybody. He's not. He's not. None of that is It's none of this is personal. He just finds it funny and amusing. Doing this is pure joy to him. He's the anti-clown. He
Right.
is. Clowns are here to amuse us and bring joy to us. They're to make us happy. Art is here to bring pain and misery to other people for his own enjoyment.
Right. I mean, I never understood that people have phobia of clowns. That never was my thing. To me, it's like
Yeah.
ridiculous that people are scared of clowns, but I can look at Art the Clown and be like, I can kind of see why, because that's
Yeah.
one evil fucking clown.
Yeah. Yeah. If I saw someone like that walking down the street covered in blood and just, staring at me in a restaurant, I would get a little bit unnerved. I'd be
Yeah,
like,
I
okay,
definitely wouldn't be trying to take no selfie with him like them
no,
girls on the Terrifier in the
no,
beginning.
no. But there are people out there that would do that.
Right? There is stupid people like that. I would do that, but not
Hmm.
me. I would be like, I want far away from that shit.
Yeah.
Scar saying, have you thought about maybe coming to Denver for a Comic-Con?
Yes. Yes, I'm actually going to be out in Denver this fall for a convention. I'm trying to remember the name of the convention right off the top of my head, but I will be there either September or October. I have to look at my schedule. So yeah, I will be there. I actually have my aunt Deborah lives in Manitou Springs, right outside of Denver. So
Cool.
she's very involved with the art scene in Denver as well. So yeah, I love that area. I was actually there. My last performance with Grinch was in Denver. So I think we played the Buell Center or whatever it's called. It was like 8 years ago, but I love Denver. It's a great place. Hard to breathe there though. It's so high. we had oxygen tanks off stage for us because
Damn.
it's the elevation is so high. And
Damn.
one of our cast members, because they tell you when you go to an elevation like that, do not drink until you've acclimated to the atmosphere.
Right.
And this one or two castmates went out that night, went partying and got drunk, and it kicked their butts for a few days. They couldn't perform for a few days because the altitude sickness.
Right.
Yeah.
You
Lesson
do
learned.
lots of conventions and stuff, right? Like you're constantly doing them. Yeah.
Yeah. I have a little bit of a break this month for July, but I go back again in August.
Right.
Are there going to be any conventions in New York anytime soon?
I
Are
might
there
be
going to
doing
be any conventions in British Columbia, Canada?
Hopefully,
Because nothing comes here. Ever.
I know. Someone's got to bring us out there.
New York first.
I should do it.
New York first. I gotta hear about that.
I might be doing one upstate later on this fall in here in New York. It just depends because I might have to pull out of it because we might, I think, be doing a premiere at a festival for Terrifier in London that weekend. If everything, knock on wood, goes to plan. So
I gotta be in London and not in New York.
I know. It's just like, why do they have to be on the same weekend? So hopefully something can be worked out. Maybe I can go to the convention, then fly out to the premiere or something like that. I am hoping we can work something out.
I want to see that. I've never actually been on any horror conventions. I'm really curious.
Oh, they're so much fun. I love them.
They seem fun, yeah.
Yeah,
I can imagine.
I've done a few.
I've been seeing people on Instagram posting.
Oh, they're so much fun. I love them. It's just like it's the best job in the world.
Are you really receptive to people and let them take pictures and things like that?
Oh gosh, yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I like I said, I go to the after parties as well and all that kind of stuff. I like to hang out with everybody.
Yeah.
Cool. Do you ever get like starstruck? I mean, I know you are an actor yourself and stuff, but like you meet like certain actors that you've been looking up to your whole life and talking to them in person. That must be crazy.
That's happened a few times at these conventions, especially because I'm glad I have Damien with me because he's really good at breaking the ice with other celebrities. I get very nervous. I just don't want to be like, "Hi, love your moments." But I've had a few of those moments where I've just been like, I mean, Doug Jones is one of those where I was just like, hey. That was an amazing moment because he's kind of like my idol. He's who I base my career off of. Alice Cooper is a really cool one. Like my manager also represents him, so he's set up a lot of those kind of meets. Now Alice and I are simpatico. It's just like, hey. It was a cool moment when I walked into the green room for dinner one night, and Alice is sitting there. He looks up and they go, "Oh, here comes trouble." And I'm like,
awesome.
"That's amazing! That's amazing." Alice Cooper thinks I'm trouble.
That must be flattering.
Oh man! And we had another time when Damien was doing my makeup, and he comes in, and he's doing my eye makeup, and Alice sees him doing my eye makeup. He's like, "You need some help?" And he comes over and starts doing my eye makeup.
Oh my God! Really?
Yeah, the people took pictures of it. I have one on, I think, on my Instagram page of that.
That is so cool.
Yeah, that was
I'm sure you said that before. But how many hours did it take you to get the makeup for Terrifier?
Originally 4, maybe, but we've gotten down to about an hour now. Well, also speaking of that, it's like probably my favorite one though was when I was at Spooky Empire back in 2018 down in Orlando.
Right.
I am in the green room getting my makeup done, and our manager Bob comes in and he's like, "Hey guys, I got someone, if you don't mind, I got someone here that wants to meet you guys." And we're like, "Oh sure, come on in." Just doing my makeup, and I have my eyes closed because Damien's doing my eyes again, and all of a sudden I just hear this, "Oh wow, that's fantastic." Boom, eyes open, and there's Christopher Lloyd standing in front of me with the biggest smile on his face, and I'm just like,
"Oh!"
It's like that made my year.
Wow!
Because that man has brought so much joy to my life. He's so many of my favorite movies of all time. Back to the Future. Who Framed Roger Rabbit is my favorite movie of all time. I mean, he's Judge Doom in that. He's Uncle Fester, Taxi, and God, Dennis the Menace is Switchblade Sam, and all this.
He's a great character actor.
He's so great, and I got to sit there and talk with him for a while he was on his break because he had actually worked with Stephen Carl as well, because way back in the day in LA, it was the year before they did the national tour. They did a sit down in LA at the Pantasias. And he was originally supposed to play the Grinch, and Stefan ended up just being his understudy for the show.
Right.
Even though he had played it the year before in Boston. And I guess Chris just couldn't handle the physical demands of the role. Or he might have had some conflicts or something happened where he wasn't able to carry on doing the role. So Stefan went back into it. But, they were together during most of the rehearsal period and stuff like that. And so, I was able to talk because Stefan passed away from cancer back in 2018. So I was able to talk to Chris about our mutual friend, Stefan, and how amazing and talented he was. And we were able to have a real genuine moment just reminiscing about Stefan, which was really cool. So that's like, it was such a surreal moment because that next day I'm in the green room having lunch, and I'm sitting at the table, and like a lot of the cast from ET's there, and then like Eddie Furlong's sitting at the table, and sitting next to me, Christopher Lloyd is reading a newspaper, just casually sitting there while he's eating his sandwich, and then I'm eating, and then someone bumps into me, and I hear this female voice like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry." And she was talking on the phone to her kids, and I look up and it's Christina Ricci, and she just ends up sitting right next to me, and she's just talking to her kids on the phone and stuff like that. And I'm like, because she was one of my crushes growing up. I had such a huge crush on Christina Ricci, so I'm just like, holy shit! I'm sitting at in between Uncle Fester and Wednesday Addams, and Lurch is sitting at the table. I'm sitting at the table with the Addams family, and I'm sitting at the table with E.T.'s family, and E.T., because the actor that played E.T. was there. and I'm sitting at the table with John Connor himself, and I'm like, fuck, it's my life right now. Like, these are all some of my favorite films, and I'm just like, and I'm just sitting there having lunch with these guys, shooting the shit. I'm like, in my head, I'm freaking out, and I was like, be cool, Dave, be cool. But I felt like I was an imposter. I felt like I didn't deserve to be in that room with these guys. I'm like, I'm like, how am I sitting at the table with you guys?
Right. That must be insane, like, for real.
It was so cool. But
Must be feeling so surreal.
Yeah. It was just.
Christina Ricci know?
I don't know. I don't know.
She knows now.
Yeah.
I think she watches this, but who knows?
Well, she's taken anyway, but you know. If you're ever free, girl.
Plug that, boy.
Oh, God, no.
Link in the bio.
We're
Christina is available.
We're the same age. So I was crushing on her when she was Wednesday Addams back in the day. I was like, oh my gosh, she's so cute. Like Casper. I was like, oh, she's so cute. I was like, plus she's so talented too. So it's just like,
Yeah, she's so versatile. She's in so many movies.
Oh yeah. She's so good. She's so good.
Yeah.
But that was just so surreal. But I loved it too because I got to see these people be people.
Right.
And that was, I mean, just hearing her chat with her kids on the phone and being a mom, I'm like, this is so cool. This is just so cool.
Right. And they're doing that Netflix show now about Wednesday Addams, where like obviously like a whole different person is playing her. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna watch it because I'm curious, but I have this thing where when I'm used to certain actors playing certain characters, it just doesn't really connect, if that makes sense.
Oh, I understand, but I definitely want to see this because I like the cast they have for it. I think
it does look good. It looks interesting.
I think Louis Guzman playing Gomez is genius casting.
Definitely.
I was like, that's because he's supposed to be from Spain.
Yeah, it's about time they cast an actual Spanish-speaking person.
Yes, Gomez is supposed to be Hispanic, so it's just like, this is great. Yes, and plus he has that look that kind of looks more like the Addams Family comics from back in the day too.
It does, right?
Yeah.
He do got that look.
I think people were, because I know that there are people that are upset with his casting. But I think they're so used to the suave Raul Julia look. I'm like, no. You go back and look at the old drawings. Gomez had more of a Peter Lorre type of look.
Right, please. People need to shut the fuck up. People always upset with casting for certain characters, and I'm like so fucking sick of it. They always bitching about certain people
I've done it myself.
casting certain roles.
I was bitching when they cast Colin Farrell as the Penguin. I was like, he is too pretty to play.
I still haven't seen it, so I can't say shit.
Oh my God, I ate my hat on that one. I was like, the makeup effects they put on him and just the way he played the character, you would never know that was Colin Farrell. You would never know. It's like, that is an actor right there. He can disappear into a role like that. I love that. I was like,
right. And plus, Penguin
was dead wrong about that character.
Isn't Penguin like a character that they have to use a lot of makeup on anyway? So like, you probably wouldn't even see Colin Farrell.
But you would if someone told me that was Colin Farrell and I didn't know it, I would say they're full of it because I was like, that's no way. He looks like nothing like him. He sounds nothing like him. He acts nothing like him. That is not Colin Farrell.
Cool.
He's great. He's great. He's hysterical.
Wait, where did he play Penguin in that new Batman movie?
Yes.
With okay. Yes. I haven't seen that yet.
Oh, he's great. He was great.
You haven't seen it yet?
No, because to be honest, I'm not like a superhero comic book movie girl. I'm gonna see it eventually, but like it has to come up on like Netflix or something where I could watch it for free. I'm like not paying to watch it, you know what I mean?
Actually,
I've never seen it as a movie.
I would suggest paying to see. It's good. It's a good movie. They really worked hard on making this a good movie. It felt like what a Batman film should feel like too. Especially they really focused on him being the detective. and a budding detective, because this is during his like second year as Batman, so he's still not perfect yet. He's still finding his way, and he has his foibles, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
But I love that they focus on him being an investigator.
I will watch it eventually. Like, I do like the idea of Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman. I really like her. I think she's a great actress.
She was good. The whole movie was good. I really enjoyed it. I was happy with it. Oh my god! And I was ready to go in there because I'm a huge Batman purist. I was ready to go in there and tear it to pieces. And I sat there and because even when they cast Robert Pattinson as Batman, I was like, no, he's too thin to play Batman.
Twilight.
Yeah, but I saw him as a great Dick Grayson / Robin or Nightwing. He that's what he looked like to me.
Just a heads up, my headphones just died, so if you'll hear any echoes, that's why. Just
okay. No problem. Stupid headphones.
Yeah.
But I was wrong with the casting of him too, because I was like, he was great. He was great in it. Everybody was great in it. There was only one part I had a issue with, but it's because I'm very, very guarded with that character. It's the Joker. I just did not like the interpretation of the Joker in the movie.
Who plays the Joker in that movie?
Oh, it's the dude. He was in the Eternals as well.
Oh, I don't know what.
He's Irish actor.
Let me ask a question. How did you feel about Jared Leto as the Joker in the Suicide Squad? Because I know a lot of people was pissed about it. You didn't like it? Oh, I did. I guess because I just like Jared Leto. So.
No, not horrible. It was horrible. That's not the Joker.
Okay.
It was all wrong. That's the worst version I've ever seen of the Joker. It was just horrible. Okay. Horribly written, horribly acted, horribly aesthetically portrayed as well.
Aesthetically, yeah, it did look weird. They make him look they make him look like he's.
See, that's my issue with how Hollywood's been tackling the Joker. They try to be different with him, and they try to make him creepy. And that was my issue with the Joker and the Batman, is they try to make him this creepy guy, and I'm like, no, that's not Joker. He's not trying to be creepy. He's very theatrical.
Mm-hmm.
He's a showman.
So is he more like Heath Ledger in the Dark?
That's the thing. They're all trying to be Heath Ledger, and even Heath Ledger's was not. I liked his performance, but his was not comic accurate in that way.
Okay.
And that's my thing. Is I want a comic accurate Joker on screen.
So who was the most comic accurate Joker?
Cesar Romero.
Not familiar with that.
Jack Nicholson is probably the second most comic accurate.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, but still, you're watching him going, "Oh, that's Jack Nicholson."
Yeah.
He didn't disappear into the role.
Yeah, I think
Cesar Romero disappeared into the role.
Period. Jack Nicholson always shows in his roles, kind of.
Yeah. I will say Heath Ledger disappeared into the role too. Yeah, like I said, I loved his performance. I loved Joaquin Phoenix's performance as well, but that was not the Joker to me.
That was not the Joker, and even I know that, and I'm not like a fan of the comic book. But even I kind of felt that.
But I love the movie itself as a movie.
It was great.
I thought it was a great script. Yeah. But I feel like even if they took all the Batman elements out of it, it would have been just as great. It felt like they put all the Batman elements in it just to sell seats.
It didn't feel like a Batman movie, but he did a great job.
Well, that's the thing. You're not supposed to give a backstory of the Joker like that. It's you're not supposed to know how he became the Joker.
Right.
Even in The Killing Joke, they address that. They said he said, because they make it seem like this might be his backstory, but he even says that he's the untrustworthy narrator. He's like, yeah, and I prefer my past to be multiple choice.
Right.
So it might be this, it might be something else. I don't even know anymore.
Yeah.
It's just like, that's how I feel Joker should be. You're not supposed to know who he was before he donned the red hood and found that vat of chemicals.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Would
what
you
makes
want
him
to
so
play the
intriguing.
Joker?
Oh God, yes. That is my dream role. That I got to play him on a web series, and I really wanted.
Make a good one.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
That's why I'm so protective of the character, because I want to do it justice, and I want to actually do a comic accurate version of the character. I would say the one actor that has actually nailed the comic book version of the Joker, even though his own voice alone, is Mark Hamill in the Batman animated series.
Oh, and the animated series,
Yeah.
right?
And also the Arkham games as well.
My boyfriend forced me to watch those, so I know all about
forced
that.
you.
Yes,
Forced you. That's one of the best animated series ever created. It is so well written. It is so well written. You'd be glad he forced you. He gave you a great education and great animated series.
I did like it though. I'm not gonna lie.
Good. You thank him.
Forced me originally.
You tonight call him up and thank him.
Originally, I did not want to watch it because I'm not like a comic book person, but I did enjoy it. Like I was like, I watched it. Like, I don't want to watch this shit, and then I watched it. Like, oh shit,
it's so good. It's so good because it doesn't treat the audience like they're stupid.
Yeah, it is good. I'm not gonna.
It's the characters are so well written and fleshed out. The stories are so well written, and there are so many characters today that are based on that series. Like Harley Quinn, she was created for that series, and she's supposed to be just a one-off character in one episode, and now she's one of the main DC characters. Mr. Freeze's tragic backstory was created for that show. It's just Preach, Terrence.
Like in the same city too, so he could easily track my ass down.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just I love that series so much. It's like it's a shame that like the DC live action films have not been able to get the writers from the DC animated series to write their movie because
let me ask you a
they're
question.
so good.
What is the worst Batman movie then?
What is the worst Batman movie?
Yeah.
Definitely Batman and Robin. It's just like,
is that the George Clooney one?
Yeah.
People always say that one is the worst.
It's so bad. It's so bad. It's just everybody chill. The Iceman cometh.
Oh no!
I'm going to give you the cold shoulder. Oh, it's just so bad. It's so bad. Wait, I mean, they even like. I remember that there's one scene where it's a car that's frozen, and they open the car door, and the fake ice that's on it. You can tell it's clearly plastic because it goes wah 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 wah. It's just like, oh god.
Wait, was Jim Carrey in that one too, or no?
No, that was Batman Forever.
Oh, okay. Because I remember, I have a very clear memory of.
At least that one was entertaining. Batman Forever, it might have been a little bit hokey and campy, but at least it was entertaining. Batman and Robin was just god. I think if Jim Carrey had not been in Batman Forever, it wouldn't have been nearly as good.
No, I love Jim Carrey. He cracks me up, but like I just can't take Jim Carrey seriously. Except for maybe like when he did the horror movie Number 23. I actually really liked that one. I know a lot of people hated it, but
that was good.
Yeah, to me, like, it was really good. But I know that a lot of people hated it. But I actually thought it was really good.
I thought it was a good movie too.
Yeah, it's like Ace Ventura's Dark Side.
Yeah. Oh, righty then, I'm gonna kill you.
But other than that, and that movie he had on Netflix called like Dark Crimes or something. Other than those two movies, I can never really take Jim Carrey seriously. So it's always just fun.
Comedy's his forte. I mean, he's great at doing serious, like Eternal Sunshine and stuff like that. But
I love that movie. I forgot about that one. I don't know, but that's actually literally one of my favorite movies.
Well, that's the thing. The funny thing is, comedic actors are very good at doing dramatic acting as well. Because comedy's hard. Comedy is harder than doing dramatic acting.
Mm-hmm. And they're good at directing it too. I mean, look at Jordan Peele. I mean, shit, I love Jordan Peele. He knows his shit, and he's a comedic actor.
Yeah. Look at Robin Williams. The man can make you laugh and cry in the same movie in minutes of each other.
For true. Yeah. I
It's
was
like,
so he died because like Robin Williams,
oh,
huge part of my childhood. I mean, Jumanji.
oh God. I was literally depressed for a few weeks after he died because he was a
Yeah.
huge impact on me as an actor. He
Yeah.
was like one of my idols. I hate that I never got to meet him. And he was such a good soul.
He was
Yeah.
great.
He's a man that had a lot of bad things happen during his life, and he found ways to deal with the tragedy.
Yeah.
And he did
But
incredible things for others. And it's like,
with Robin Williams as an actor, I could take him in a comedic role and I could take him in a dramatic role as well. I felt like
Yeah.
he could pull both. Like he could pull
oh my
both.
God, him in like, what was it, Insomnia? He
Not-
was
I
was he in
don't.
Insomnia?
But remember,
But
he,
yeah,
like
24-hour photo. He was, oh my
yeah,
God,
that
yeah,
yeah,
he was
yeah.
he was great in that. It's like,
That character was so creepy and like
yeah,
uncomfortable, but
he
he
can
made
be
him sympathetic.
scary.
Felt bad for him in that movie.
Yeah,
He made him like you feel sympathetic to him. You
Yeah.
sympathize.
oh,
Actually, at some point, was mad at this family that didn't want to like accept him.
yeah.
Stalker. I'm like, what's wrong with them? Like,
Yeah.
like accept him, your family, be friends with him, bastards.
And then there's like What Dreams May Come. My God, that movie made me cry like a baby every time I saw it. I was just
That's
like,
a beautiful
Yeah.
movie.
oh,
That's
it's a beautiful movie. It's
Yeah.
that is just a one of those movies. So,
it made me cry too, I believe, when I first seen it. Yeah,
yeah.
that's a
Oh,
that's
he
a
was,
movie. But
Robin
from
Williams was one of a kind. That's all.
Robin Williams movie is always going to be Jumanji, just because that's like my childhood movie.
Yeah.
I've seen that in childhood.
Yeah. Same way with Miss Doubtfire and Aladdin.
Right, that's funny as hell too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw someone was asking if I would ever do cosplay as Joker again. I totally would. Totally would.
Mm.
I'm actually wanting Damien to put me in Joker makeup.
Yeah, we want to see it.
I would like to. We've talked about doing that and putting me in Joker makeup one day.
We want to see it.
Yeah.
Are you guys going to work on other films other than Terrifier together, do you think?
Oh, more than likely, yeah. Yeah.
That would be cool.
Yeah. It feels like, we're basically starting our own little studio system over here because we have a lot of the same people we work with on different films.
Right.
And in other films I've worked on, we have a lot of the same crew members and stuff like that. So it's been pretty cool.
Very cool. Very
Yeah.
cool. Well, guys, I think we're starting to fade off a little bit.
Oh, no.
No,
Can you believe it's been 2 hours? And
I can't. We've just
17
chatting
minutes
away.
has flown by.
Been chatting away.
I mean,
Yeah,
he
this
makes
has been-
like a great guest. He has so many stories.
Oh, thanks.
This
I
was
like to think so.
ridiculously fun. I can't even tell
Yeah.
you.
I had fun too. I'm glad we're able to make this work tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks so much, too,
Hey,
because I know you're
of
so
course.
busy.
Of course, no problem. Happy to.
It's
It was
a
great
big
chatting.
I actually didn't
Commitment
believe
to hang
talking
out.
to somebody like a movie I watched before. It's
Mhm.
so
Well, hopefully you can be doing the same once part 2 comes out. You'll be like wanting to recommend it to everybody. So
Oh, yeah, we will.
Oh, we're definitely watching that shit.
yeah,
Yeah.
not too much longer.
As a matter of fact, we should do a watch party for it.
I was going to say that. Yeah.
We
Sure we
did it
will.
for the first one. We might as well do it for the second one. Shit, why
Yeah.
not?
Why
Yeah,
not?
Definitely. We'll do that for sure.
Yeah.
What do we got
Oh, yeah.
here?
Oh, there's the kitty.
See, everybody waiting for
Oh, there's the
part two.
kitty.
Yeah. She's decided to make an appearance. There she is.
Oh, hi.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
No.
I'm over
So
door.
she's like, I'm going to look around at everything and try to. Now she's wanting to snuggle up on my laptop. So I'm sorry if it's moving around.
Cats
She's
are
like,
antisocial, so I'm not mad.
oh yeah. Oh, there she goes. There she goes. This is not for you to play on. She's like, but I want to rub up against it.
Aw.
She's shopping.
Cuddles.
She's like, it's mine. It's mine now.
Well, everybody had such a good time in the chat.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm happy to hear that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm happy to hear that. I had a great time chatting with everybody. Oh, come on, Kitty.
Those are cats for you.
Oh, yeah. They do whatever they want to do.
My mother had like 8 cats, and them shits was running for life. So
Oh, yeah.
biting.
Oh, yeah. I got the scars and scratch marks and bite marks to prove it.
Yep,
Playing
that's
with
cats for you.
Yeah, they can love you 1 second, all of a sudden chomp.
My dog
Yeah.
all the time. Scratch my dog. He used to scratch my dog, and I used to come in and yell at him, and my dog would bark at him from behind my leg.
Yep, that happened to my dog too as a kid when she was a puppy. First day she's at home, the cat established dominance immediately. She's like,
Yep.
"No, I run everything."
Yep.
Swiped at her butt.
Those are cats for you. Because my dog was really small. She was actually smaller than a cat.
Yeah.
So my mother's cat used to always scratch her, and I would come in and yell at him like, "Get away from my dog!" And as soon as I came in, they would get behind my leg and bark at the cat.
That's great.
Okay, what should I say? So Terrifier 2 coming out September, October.
Yes.
We're definitely gonna we'll be talking about it anyway.
Oh, yeah.
And also the comic book.
Mm-hmm. I don't know exactly when that releases, but it's gonna be soon. Stay tuned.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool too. And I just want to say thank you so much, and you're welcome back anytime.
Of course, I'd be happy to. Then I can talk a lot about part 2.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Part 2 comes out.
Let's do that.
Yeah, because there's gonna be a lot to talk about. Trust me. You're gonna have questions.
Awesome. Okay. Okay. I will bug you and make that happen. So
yes.
I will just keep messaging you until you come on again.
Sounds good. We'll make it happen.
Okay, cool.
Well, y'all take care and have a good night then.
You too. Thanks again.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.